Take a moment to think about the last time you encountered a language you couldn't understand, a sign in a foreign script, a cryptic symbol carved into stone, or even an old handwritten letter. Now, multiply that mystery by thousands of years. What if those symbols weren't just indecipherable to you, but to the entire world? Across the globe, ancient scripts etched into clay tablets, stone monuments, and fragile parchment hold stories of civilizations that once thrived but have since faded into obscurity. These aren't just random markings, they're the voices of people who lived, loved, and left their mark on history, waiting for someone to listen. Today, we're stepping into the world of the lost histories of ancient scripts, decoding the symbols of forgotten cultures. Together, we'll explore how these enigmatic writings have puzzled scholars for centuries, the ingenious methods used to crack their codes, and why unlocking these ancient messages matters more than ever. This isn't just a journey into the past, it's a chance to hear the whispers of those who came before us and discover how their stories continue to shape our world today. For centuries, the world has been captivated by the enigmatic symbols of ancient scripts that refuse to give up their secrets. Among these, the Indus Valley script and the Rongorongo of Easter Island stand out as two of the most tantalizing mysteries. The Indus Valley script, found on thousands of small seals and artifacts, dates back over 4,000 years, yet its symbols remain stubbornly silent. Similarly, the Rongorongo script, carved into wooden tablets by the people of Easter Island, offers a glimpse into a culture that thrived in isolation but left behind a code that has yet to be fully understood. These scripts aren't just collections of random marks, they're windows into entire worlds, holding the potential to reveal how ancient societies thought, communicated, and lived. What makes these scripts so frustrating and so fascinating is their complexity. Unlike other ancient writing systems, such as Egyptian hieroglyphs or Mesopotamian cuneiform, which were eventually decoded with the help of bilingual texts or well-preserved records, these undeciphered scripts offer no such clues. They exist in isolation, their meanings locked away from modern understanding. For researchers, this creates a unique challenge. How do you crack a code when you don't even know the language it represents? Scholars have spent decades, sometimes entire careers, poring over these symbols, searching for patterns and testing theories. Yet, despite their efforts, the scripts remain elusive, their messages still hidden in the shadows of history. But it's not just the challenge that draws people in. It's the promise of what these scripts might reveal. Imagine unlocking the Indus Valley script and discovering the daily lives, beliefs, and trade practices of one of the world's earliest urban civilizations. Or deciphering Rongorongo and hearing the voices of the Rapa Nui people, who carved their history into wood before their culture faced near collapse. These scripts aren't just puzzles, they're time capsules, waiting to share stories that could reshape our understanding of human history. To tackle these mysteries, researchers have turned to a variety of methods. Some analyze the frequency and arrangement of symbols, looking for patterns that might hint at grammar or meaning. Others compare the scripts to known languages or explore cultural contexts for clues. Advances in technology, such as AI and machine learning, have also opened new doors, offering tools to process vast amounts of data and spot connections that might elude the human eye. Yet, even with these tools, the process is slow and painstaking, requiring equal parts creativity, patience, and perseverance. What's clear is that the journey to decode these scripts is as much about the process as it is about the outcome. It's a reminder that history isn't just a collection of facts. It's a living, breathing mystery, full of questions waiting to be answered. And for every scholar who dedicates their life to this work, there's a shared hope that one day these ancient symbols will speak again and the voices of the past will finally be heard. While many ancient scripts remain shrouded in mystery, there are moments in history when a single discovery changes everything. Enter the Rosetta Stone, a slab of black basalt that became the key to unlocking one of humanity's greatest linguistic puzzles, Egyptian hieroglyphs. Discovered in 1799 by French soldiers during Napoleon's campaign in Egypt, this unassuming stone held the power to bridge a gap of over 1,000 years. Its surface bore inscriptions in 3 scripts: Greek, Demotic, and hieroglyphs. At first glance, it might have seemed like just another artifact, but it was anything but ordinary. The Rosetta Stone became a linguistic Rosetta Stone in every sense, a tool that would allow scholars to decode an entire civilization's written legacy. The brilliance of the Rosetta Stone lies in its trilingual text. Greek, a well-understood language of the ancient world, served as the foundation. Scholars could read the Greek portion, which detailed a decree from King Ptolemy V, and use it as a reference point to decipher the demotic and hieroglyphic sections. This was no small feat. Hieroglyphs had been a mystery for centuries, their intricate symbols often dismissed as mere decorative art or mystical symbols. But the Rosetta Stone offered a clear path forward. It was as if the ancient Egyptians had left behind a cipher, waiting for the right minds to crack its code. Enter Jean-Francois Champollion, a French scholar whose name is forever tied to the Rosetta Stone story. Champollion wasn't just a linguist, he was a man obsessed. From a young age, he was fascinated by ancient languages, and by the time he encountered the Rosetta Stone, he had already mastered multiple tongues. But hieroglyphs were his ultimate challenge. For years, he meticulously compared the Greek and hieroglyphic texts, searching for patterns and correspondences. His breakthrough came when he realized that hieroglyphs weren't purely symbolic, they also represented sounds. This insight, combined with his deep knowledge of Coptic, a language descended from ancient Egyptian, allowed him to finally decode the script in 1822. For the first time in centuries, the voices of ancient Egypt could be heard again. Champollion's work didn't just solve a puzzle, it opened a door to an entire civilization. Suddenly, the walls of temples, tombs, and monuments came alive with stories of gods, pharaohs, and everyday life. The Rosetta Stone became a symbol of how one artifact, one breakthrough, can illuminate the past in ways that reshape our understanding of history. It's a reminder that even the most enigmatic scripts are not beyond our reach. They're waiting for the right key, the right moment, and the right person to unlock their secrets. What makes the Rosetta Stone story so compelling is not just its historical significance, but the way it inspires us to keep searching for answers. It shows us that even the most complex codes can be cracked with persistence, creativity, and a willingness to think differently. And as we turn our attention to other undeciphered scripts, the Rosetta Stone stands as a beacon of hope, proof that the past is never truly silent, and that every symbol has a story waiting to be told. The story of Linear B begins on the sun-drenched island of Crete, where the ruins of the Minoan civilization whisper tales of a sophisticated society that thrived over 3,000 years ago. Among the artifacts left behind were clay tablets inscribed with a mysterious script now known as Linear B. For decades, these tablets baffled scholars. Were they records of trade, religious rituals, or perhaps even poetry? The symbols seemed impenetrable, a code without a key. But in the mid-20th century, a young British architect named Michael Ventris would change everything. His work on Linear B didn't just solve a linguistic puzzle, it unlocked a window into the Mycenaean world, a culture that had been lost to history. Ventris wasn't a linguist by training, but he had a passion for ancient languages and an extraordinary talent for pattern recognition. He approached Linear B like a detective, meticulously analyzing the symbols and their arrangements. His breakthrough came when he hypothesized that the script might represent an early form of Greek, a radical idea at the time. Collaborating with linguist John Chadwick, Ventris began to piece together the puzzle. They identified recurring patterns that corresponded to place names, commodities, and even administrative records. Slowly, the symbols began to make sense, revealing a world of palace economies, trade networks, and daily life in the Mycenaean era. What makes Linear B so remarkable is what it tells us about the Mycenaeans. These weren't just abstract symbols, they were records of real people and their lives. The tablets detail everything from olive oil shipments to the distribution of bronze tools, offering a glimpse into the economic and social structures of the time. They also provide evidence of a shared culture between the Minoans of Crete and the Mycenaeans of mainland Greece, challenging earlier assumptions about their relationship. Linear B wasn't just a script, it was a bridge to understanding how these ancient societies functioned and interacted. But the decipherment of Linear B wasn't just a triumph of individual genius. It was the result of decades of collaborative effort. Archaeologists like Sir Arthur Evans, who first excavated the Minoan palace of Knossos, laid the groundwork by unearthing the tablets. Linguists and historians contributed their expertise, building on each other's work to create a fuller picture. Ventris himself acknowledged that his breakthrough was built on the shoulders of others, a reminder that decoding ancient scripts is often a collective endeavor. Yet, as remarkable as the story of Linear B is, it also highlights a sobering truth. Not all ancient scripts are so fortunate. While Linear B had the advantage of being linked to a known language, many other scripts remain locked away, their meanings still hidden. The success of Linear B's decipherment serves as both inspiration and caution. It shows us what's possible when persistence, collaboration, and a bit of luck come together. But it also reminds us that for every script we decode, there are countless others still waiting for their moment in the light. The story of Linear B isn't just about cracking a code, it's about the enduring quest to hear the voices of the past, no matter how faint they may be. The Indus Valley civilization, flourishing over 4,000 years ago in what is now modern-day Pakistan and northwest India, stands as one of the world's earliest urban societies. Alongside its advanced city planning, drainage systems, and trade networks, this civilization left behind a tantalizing mystery, a script etched onto thousands of small seals, pottery fragments, and tablets. Known as the Indus Valley script, these symbols have captivated scholars for over a century. Yet, unlike the Rosetta Stone or Linear B, this script offers no bilingual texts, no clear descendants, and no obvious clues to its meaning. It's a puzzle without a key, a language lost to time, and one of history's most enduring enigmas. What makes the Indus Valley script so challenging to decipher is its isolation. Most ancient scripts that have been decoded, like Egyptian hieroglyphs or Mesopotamian cuneiform, benefited from bilingual inscriptions or connections to known languages. The Indus script, however, exists in a vacuum. It doesn't resemble any known writing system, and the language it represents has long since disappeared. Without a Rosetta Stone to bridge the gap, scholars are left to guess at its structure, grammar, and even its purpose. Is it a fully developed writing system or a simpler form of symbolic communication? Does it record trade transactions, religious rituals, or administrative details? The answers remain elusive. Despite these challenges, researchers have made progress in piecing together the puzzle. The script consists of around 400 distinct symbols, some of which appear frequently, while others are rare. This variability suggests a complex system, possibly combining both phonetic and logographic elements similar to how modern Chinese characters work. Some scholars have speculated that the script might be related to the Dravidian languages, still spoken in parts of southern India, but this theory remains unproven. Others have turned to statistical analysis, studying the frequency and patterns of the symbols to infer their possible meanings. Yet, without a definitive link to a known language, these efforts remain speculative. Theories about the script's purpose are equally varied. Some believe it served as a form of administrative record-keeping, tracking goods, taxes, or labor in a society known for its intricate trade networks. Others argue it might have had a religious or ceremonial function, used in rituals or to mark ownership of sacred objects. A more controversial theory suggests the script isn't a true writing system at all, but a collection of symbols used for identification or branding, like modern logos. Each of these ideas offers a tantalizing glimpse into the possible uses of the script, but none have been conclusively proven. What's perhaps most fascinating about the Indus Valley script is what it represents, a civilization that was remarkably advanced, yet left behind so few clues about its inner workings. The Indus people built cities with grid-like streets, sophisticated plumbing, and even public baths, but their written records remain silent. This silence is a reminder of how fragile our connection to the past can be. Without the key to their script, we're left to imagine the lives of the people who carved these symbols, what they valued, how they organized their society, and what stories they wanted to preserve. The quest to decode the Indus Valley script isn't just an academic exercise. It's a journey to reconnect with a civilization that shaped the course of human history. Every symbol, every fragment of text, holds the potential to reveal something new about our shared past. And while the answers may still be out of reach, the search itself is a testament to our enduring curiosity, our desire to uncover the stories that time has tried to erase. The Indus script remains a mystery, but it's a mystery that continues to inspire, challenge, and remind us of the vast, untold chapters of human history waiting to be discovered. Nestled in the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean, Easter Island is a place of wonder and mystery, famous for its towering moai statues and the enigmatic Rongorongo script. Carved into wooden tablets by the Rapa Nui people, this script is one of the few examples of independent writing systems developed in complete isolation. Its glyphs, resembling human figures, animals, and abstract shapes, are as unique as the culture that created them. But what do these intricate symbols mean? And why, despite decades of study, do they remain one of the most perplexing puzzles in the world of ancient scripts? The Rongorongo script is strikingly different from other writing systems. Unlike the linear arrangements of hieroglyphs or cuneiform, its glyphs are often arranged in a pattern called reverse boustrophedon, lines of text that alternate direction, much like the path of a plow turning at the end of a field. This unusual layout adds another layer of complexity to an already challenging script. The glyphs themselves are highly stylized, with some appearing to represent human forms, plants, or tools, while others remain abstract and open to interpretation. This visual richness suggests that Rongorongo wasn't just a practical tool for recording information, it was likely imbued with cultural and spiritual significance. But deciphering Rongorongo is no easy task. The Rapa Nui people who created this script were an isolated society, cut off from the rest of the world by thousands of miles of ocean. When European explorers arrived on the island in the 18th century, they found a culture in decline, ravaged by disease, conflict, and environmental challenges. By the time scholars began to study Rongorongo in earnest, much of the knowledge surrounding the script had been lost. Unlike the Rosetta Stone, which provided a clear link between known and unknown languages, Rongorongo offers no such bridge. There are no bilingual texts, no living descendants of the Rapa Nui language, and no definitive clues to its structure or purpose. This isolation is both the script's greatest strength and its greatest weakness. On one hand, it's a testament to the ingenuity of the Rapa Nui people, who developed a writing system entirely on their own, without outside influence. On the other hand, it makes decipherment incredibly difficult. Without a clear understanding of the language or cultural context, scholars are left to piece together fragments of meaning, often relying on comparisons to other Polynesian languages or the few surviving oral traditions of the Rapa Nui. Some researchers believe the script may have been used for genealogical records or ceremonial chants, while others suggest it could have served as a mnemonic device for storytelling. Yet, without more evidence, these theories remain speculative. The challenges of deciphering Rongorongo highlight a broader theme in the study of ancient scripts: the impact of isolation on the survival of written records. In a connected world, languages and writing systems often influence one another, leaving behind traces that scholars can follow. But for isolated cultures like the Rapa Nui, the loss of knowledge can be catastrophic. Without a living tradition to preserve their language or script, their written records become time capsules, fragile and incomplete, but filled with the potential to reveal untold stories. What makes Rongorongo so compelling is not just its mystery, but what it represents: the resilience of a people who, in the face of immense challenges, sought to preserve their history and culture through the written word. Each glyph is a reminder of their creativity, their connection to the land and sea, and their determination to leave a mark on the world. And while the script may remain undeciphered for now, it continues to inspire researchers and dreamers alike, offering a tantalizing glimpse into a culture that thrived against the odds. The story of Rongorongo is a story of human ingenuity, isolation, and the enduring power of the written word, a reminder that even in the most remote corners of the world, voices from the past are waiting to be heard. Among the countless mysteries of ancient scripts, few are as baffling or as infamous as the Voynich manuscript. This 15th-century book, named after the Polish book dealer Wilfrid Voynich who acquired it in 1912, is unlike anything else in the world. Its pages are filled with strange, flowing script and bizarre illustrations, plants that don't exist, astrological diagrams, and figures that seem to float in otherworldly landscapes. For over a century, this enigmatic text has defied explanation, earning its reputation as one of the most perplexing puzzles in the history of written language. But what makes the Voynich manuscript so unique, and why, despite countless attempts, has no one been able to crack its code? The first thing that strikes anyone who encounters the Voynich manuscript is its sheer strangeness. The script, often referred to as Voynichese, is written in an unknown alphabet, with characters that flow elegantly across the page but resist all efforts to translate. The illustrations are equally mysterious. Some pages feature intricate botanical drawings of plants that have no known counterparts in nature, while others depict celestial charts, strange bathing rituals, and figures that seem to blend human and alien features. The combination of these elements suggests a text that is deeply symbolic, perhaps even esoteric. But what was its purpose? Was it a scientific treatise, a religious text, or something else entirely? Theories about the Voynich manuscript are as varied as they are speculative. Some believe it's a medieval alchemical guide, filled with coded instructions for creating elixirs or unlocking hidden knowledge. Others argue it could be a pharmacopoeia, a medical handbook describing remedies using plants that have since been lost to history. There's even a theory that it's an elaborate hoax, crafted to deceive collectors or scholars into believing it held secrets worth a fortune. But while the hoax theory is intriguing, the complexity and consistency of the script make it difficult to dismiss entirely. After all, creating a fake manuscript of this scale and detail would have required an extraordinary level of skill and patience, even for a medieval forger. What sets the Voynich manuscript apart from other undeciphered scripts is the sheer volume of effort devoted to cracking its code. Over the years, it has attracted the attention of some of the world's top cryptographers, linguists, and computer scientists. During World War II, codebreakers who had worked on cracking the Enigma machine turned their attention to the manuscript, hoping their skills could unlock its secrets. More recently, artificial intelligence has been employed to analyze its patterns and structure. Yet, despite these high-tech efforts, the manuscript remains stubbornly silent. Some scholars argue that the text may not even be a true language, but a form of glossolalia, a kind of speaking in tongues written down. Others believe it's a cipher so complex that it may never be fully understood. But perhaps the most fascinating aspect of the Voynich manuscript is what it reveals about our own fascination with the unknown. This isn't just a puzzle, it's a mirror reflecting our desire to uncover secrets, solve mysteries, and connect with the past. Every failed attempt to decode it only deepens its allure, drawing in new generations of researchers and enthusiasts. It's a reminder that some mysteries are meant to endure, challenging us to keep searching, keep questioning, and keep wondering. The Voynich manuscript is more than just a medieval curiosity. It's a testament to the enduring power of human creativity and curiosity. Its pages may never yield their secrets, but they continue to inspire, provoke, and captivate. In a world where so much is known, the Voynich manuscript stands as a reminder that there are still stories waiting to be told. Stories that remind us of the infinite complexity of human history and the endless possibilities of the human mind. When faced with an undeciphered script, linguists don't just see a jumble of symbols, they see a puzzle waiting to be solved. The process of cracking these ancient codes is as much about understanding language as it is about understanding the people who used it. Take the Mayan glyphs, for example. For centuries, these intricate symbols adorned the walls of temples and the pages of codices, their meanings obscured by time. But with the tools of modern linguistics, scholars began to peel back the layers of this ancient writing system, revealing a rich tapestry of history, religion, and daily life. So, how do linguists approach such a monumental task? It all starts with pattern recognition. One of the first steps in deciphering any script is analyzing the frequency and arrangement of its symbols. Just as certain letters appear more often in English, think of the letter E. Ancient scripts also have high-frequency characters that likely represent common sounds or words. By studying these patterns, linguists can begin to identify potential vowels, consonants, or even grammatical markers. In the case of the Mayan glyphs, This approach helped researchers distinguish between phonetic symbols, which represent sounds, and logograms, which stand for entire words or concepts. This dual nature of the script made it particularly complex, but also incredibly versatile, allowing the Maya to express a wide range of ideas with remarkable precision. But frequency analysis is just the beginning. To truly understand a script, linguists must also delve into its grammar and syntax, the rules that govern how symbols are combined to form meaningful sentences. This is where cultural context becomes invaluable. Without an understanding of the society that created the script, even the most detailed analysis of symbols can fall short. For the Maya, their glyphs weren't just a writing system, they were a reflection of their worldview. Glyphs often referenced gods, celestial events, or historical figures, embedding layers of meaning that only make sense when viewed through the lens of Mayan culture. By combining linguistic analysis with archaeological and historical insights, scholars were able to piece together the structure of the Mayan language and, ultimately, decode its script. The decipherment of Mayan glyphs also highlights the importance of collaboration across disciplines. Linguists worked alongside archaeologists, anthropologists, and even astronomers to build a comprehensive picture of Mayan society. For instance, the discovery of the Dresden Codex, a Mayan manuscript filled with astronomical charts, provided crucial clues about the script's connection to celestial events. This interdisciplinary approach not only accelerated the decipherment process, but also deepened our understanding of the Maya as a whole. It's a reminder that ancient scripts aren't just puzzles to be solved, they're windows into the lives, beliefs, and achievements of the people who created them. Of course, not all scripts yield their secrets so readily. Some, like the Indus Valley script or Rongorongo, remain stubbornly opaque, resisting even the most sophisticated linguistic tools. But the challenges they present only underscore the importance of persistence and creativity in the field of decipherment. Each undeciphered script is a reminder of how much we still have to learn about the past, and how much potential there is for future discoveries. Whether it's through advances in technology, new archaeological finds, or fresh insights from linguistic theory, the quest to unlock these ancient codes continues to push the boundaries of what we know about human history. The role of linguistics in decipherment isn't just about solving puzzles, it's about bridging the gap between the past and the present. By analyzing symbols, reconstructing grammar, and exploring cultural context, linguists give voice to civilizations that might otherwise remain silent. And as we continue to uncover the secrets of ancient scripts, we're reminded of the power of language, not just as a tool for communication, but as a way to connect with the stories, dreams, and lives of those who came before us. Every symbol decoded is a step closer to understanding the full richness of human history, one glyph, one word, one story at a time. As we've seen, ancient scripts are more than just collections of symbols, they're gateways to understanding the people who created them. But how do we begin to piece together the stories behind these enigmatic writings? This is where archaeology steps in, offering a crucial partnership with linguistics. Together, these fields form a dynamic duo, unearthing clues that bring ancient scripts to life. From the artifacts buried beneath our feet to the ruins of cities long forgotten, archaeology provides the context that transforms symbols into stories. Imagine walking through the ruins of an ancient city, your footsteps echoing across stones that once bustled with life. Every artifact you find, a broken piece of pottery, a crumbling wall, or a carefully carved seal, holds a piece of the puzzle. For archaeologists, these objects aren't just relics of the past, they're messages waiting to be decoded. When paired with ancient scripts, they tell a richer, more detailed story. Consider the city of Uruk in Mesopotamia, one of the world's earliest urban centers. Here, archaeologists have uncovered thousands of clay tablets inscribed with cuneiform, the world's first known writing system. These tablets weren't just random scribbles, they were records of trade, laws, and even literature. By studying the artifacts found alongside them, such as tools, jewelry, and architectural remains, researchers have been able to reconstruct the daily lives of Uruk's inhabitants, turning symbols on clay into a vivid portrait of an ancient society. But archaeology doesn't just provide context, it also raises new questions. Take, for example, the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls in the mid-20th century. Hidden in caves near the ancient settlement of Qumran, these scrolls contain some of the oldest known copies of biblical texts, written in Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek. The scrolls themselves were a treasure trove for linguists, but it was the archaeological context, the jars they were stored in, the layout of the caves, and the surrounding artifacts that helped scholars understand why they were hidden and who might have placed them there. This interplay between text and context is what makes archaeology so vital to the study of ancient scripts. It's not just about reading the words, it's about understanding the world they came from. One of the most fascinating aspects of this relationship is how it reveals the interconnectedness of ancient societies. In the Indus Valley, for instance, archaeologists have uncovered seals inscribed with the mysterious script, often found in the ruins of marketplaces or near trade routes. These discoveries suggest that the script may have been used for commerce or administration, linking the symbols to the economic life of the civilization. Similarly, in ancient Egypt, hieroglyphs carved into temple walls often depict scenes of daily life, farming, hunting, and religious ceremonies, providing a visual narrative that complements the written text. By combining these insights, archaeologists and linguists can build a more complete picture of how these societies functioned and how they communicated. Yet, the collaboration between archaeology and linguistics isn't always straightforward. Sometimes, the physical evidence raises more questions than it answers. In the case of Rongorongo, the wooden tablets found on Easter Island have no clear archaeological context, leaving scholars to speculate about their purpose and meaning. Were they used in rituals? Were they records of genealogies or historical events? Without more artifacts or contextual clues, the script remains a tantalizing mystery. This uncertainty is a reminder of how fragile our connection to the past can be, and how much we still have to learn. What's remarkable about this partnership is how it transforms the way we see history. Ancient scripts aren't just abstract puzzles, they're reflections of real people, their hopes, their struggles, and their achievements. Every artifact, every inscription, is a piece of a larger story waiting to be uncovered. And as archaeologists and linguists continue to work together, they remind us that the past isn't silent. It's speaking to us through the objects left behind, inviting us to listen, to learn, and to connect with the voices of those who came before us. The journey to decode these scripts is as much about understanding ourselves as it is about understanding them, a shared quest to uncover the threads that bind us to our shared human heritage. When we look at ancient scripts, it's easy to see them as mere collections of symbols, lines, curves, and shapes etched into stone, clay, or wood, but these scripts are so much more than that. They are the heartbeat of civilizations long gone, the echoes of people who once lived, loved, and left their mark on the world. Every stroke of a pen or chisel tells a story, not just about language, but about the beliefs, values, and daily lives of those who created them. To understand an ancient script is to step into the shoes of the people who wrote it, to see the world through their eyes and hear their voices across the centuries. Take, for example, the cuneiform tablets of ancient Mesopotamia. These wedge-shaped marks weren't just records of grain shipments or legal disputes, they were the building blocks of one of the world's first bureaucracies. Through these texts, we see how the Sumerians organized their society, how they traded with distant lands, and even how they worshipped their gods. The tablets reveal a culture that valued order, innovation, and connection, a civilization that laid the foundation for much of what we consider modern today. By studying these scripts, we don't just learn about their language, we learn about their world. But scripts don't just tell us about the practical aspects of life, they also offer glimpses into the intangible. The hieroglyphs of ancient Egypt, for instance, are filled with references to the afterlife, divine rituals, and the pharaoh's quest for immortality. These symbols weren't just decorative, they were deeply spiritual, reflecting a culture that saw the physical and spiritual worlds as intricately connected. When we decode these texts, we're not just translating words, we're uncovering a worldview that shaped an entire civilization. It's a reminder that scripts are more than tools for communication. They are mirrors of the human soul. What makes these ancient writings so powerful is their ability to connect us to the diversity of human expression. From the poetic verses of Mayan glyphs to the meticulous records of Chinese oracle bones, every script reflects the unique way a culture saw and understood the world. The Indus Valley script, with its mysterious symbols, hints at a society that valued trade and craftsmanship, while the Rongorongo of Easter Island speaks to a people deeply connected to their environment and spiritual traditions. Each script is a testament to the creativity and adaptability of humanity, a reminder that there is no single way to tell a story. Yet, the importance of scripts goes beyond their historical or cultural value. They are keys to reconstructing lost histories, filling in the gaps left by time and decay. When we decipher an ancient script, we're not just solving a puzzle, we're reclaiming a piece of our shared heritage. We're giving voice to those who have been silenced by the passage of time, ensuring that their stories are not forgotten. And in doing so, we gain a deeper appreciation for the richness and complexity of human history. Every script is a story waiting to be uncovered, a narrative woven into the fabric of time. Whether it's the elegant curves of Arabic calligraphy or the intricate knots of the Inca quipu, these writings remind us that language is more than a means of communication. It's a reflection of who we are. As we continue to explore the world's ancient scripts, we're not just decoding symbols, we're rediscovering the humanity that binds us all. And in that rediscovery, we find not only the past, but also a deeper understanding of ourselves. Deciphering an ancient script is like trying to solve a puzzle when half the pieces are missing. The challenges researchers face are immense, and they go far beyond the complexity of the symbols themselves. One of the biggest hurdles is the simple fact that many ancient texts are incomplete. Imagine trying to read a book with half its pages torn out. How could you possibly grasp the full story? This is the reality for scholars working with fragmentary scripts like the Etruscan language, where only a fraction of the original texts have survived. Without a complete corpus of writings, even the most brilliant linguists are left to fill in the gaps with educated guesses, hoping to reconstruct a language that time has tried to erase. But incomplete texts are just the beginning. Another major obstacle is the lack of bilingual inscriptions, those Rosetta Stone-like keys that bridge the gap between known and unknown languages. For scripts like Etruscan, which has no direct descendants or clear connections to modern languages, This absence is particularly frustrating. The Etruscans, a powerful civilization in ancient Italy, left behind thousands of inscriptions, but without a bilingual text to serve as a guide, their language remains largely a mystery. Scholars have made some progress, deciphering common phrases and names, but the deeper meanings of their texts, whether they're religious prayers, legal documents, or personal letters, are still out of reach. It's a reminder of how fragile our connection to the past can be, and how easily the keys to understanding can be lost. Time itself is another enemy of decipherment. Over centuries, languages evolve, cultures change, and the original meanings of words and symbols can shift or disappear entirely. Environmental factors also play a role. Many ancient texts were written on fragile materials like papyrus, wood, or parchment, which decay over time, especially in humid or unstable conditions. The Dead Sea Scrolls, for example, survived only because they were hidden in the dry caves of Qumran. Had they been exposed to moisture, they might have crumbled into dust, taking their secrets with them. This constant battle against time and the elements means that every surviving text is a small miracle, a fragile thread connecting us to the past. Cultural extinction adds yet another layer of difficulty. When a civilization disappears, so too does the living knowledge of its language and traditions. The Etruscans, for instance, were eventually absorbed by the Roman Empire, and their language faded into obscurity. Without a living tradition to preserve their words and meanings, their script became a silent relic, waiting for someone to unlock its secrets. This loss of cultural continuity is one of the greatest challenges in decipherment, as it leaves scholars with no living speakers, no oral histories, and no cultural context to guide their work. Despite these obstacles, the field of decipherment has seen remarkable triumphs. Take the work on the Etruscan language, for example. While much of it remains untranslated, scholars have managed to decode funerary inscriptions, names of gods, and even a few short phrases. These small victories are a testament to the persistence and creativity of researchers, who use every tool at their disposal, from comparative linguistics to advanced computer algorithms, to chip away at the mystery. Each decoded word, each fragment of meaning, is a step closer to understanding a civilization that once thrived. The challenges of decipherment remind us of how much we owe to the scholars who dedicate their lives to this work. It's a field that demands not only intellectual rigor, but also a deep sense of empathy, a willingness to listen to the whispers of the past and to honor the voices of those who came before us. And while some scripts may never be fully understood, the effort to decode them is a powerful reminder of our shared humanity. Every symbol, every word, is a piece of a story waiting to be told, a story that connects us to the people who shape the world we live in today. In the quest to unlock the secrets of ancient scripts, technology has emerged as a game changer. Gone are the days when scholars relied solely on painstaking manual analysis and educated guesses. Today, cutting-edge tools like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and 3D imaging are revolutionizing the field, offering new ways to tackle age-old mysteries. These innovations aren't just making the process faster, they're opening doors to discoveries that might have been impossible just a few decades ago. Take the Voynich manuscript, for example. For over a century, this cryptic text has defied every attempt at decipherment, but in recent years, researchers have turned to machine learning, a branch of AI that allows computers to analyze patterns and make predictions, to crack its code. By feeding the manuscript's symbols into algorithms, scholars have been able to identify potential linguistic patterns and even compare the text to known languages. While the manuscript's secrets remain elusive, these tools have provided fresh insights, suggesting that the text may not be a hoax after all but a structured, meaningful language. It's a prime example of how technology is breathing new life into even the most stubborn puzzles. But AI isn't the only tool transforming the study of ancient scripts. Three-dimensional imaging has become a cornerstone of modern archaeology and linguistics. Using high-resolution scanners, researchers can now create detailed digital models of fragile artifacts, from crumbling clay tablets to weathered stone inscriptions. These models allow scholars to examine every groove and curve of a script without risking damage to the original artifact. In some cases, 3D imaging has even revealed inscriptions that were invisible to the naked eye, hidden beneath layers of dirt or erosion. It's like giving archaeologists a superpower, the ability to see what was once lost to time. Another groundbreaking application of technology is optical character recognition, or OCR, adapted for ancient scripts. Originally developed for modern documents, OCR software has been modified to recognize and transcribe symbols from ancient texts. This not only speeds up the process of cataloging and analyzing inscriptions, but also helps researchers identify recurring patterns or phrases that might hold the key to decipherment. Projects like the Digital Archive of Brief Notes and Inscriptions in the Near East are using these tools to digitize thousands of texts, creating searchable databases that make it easier than ever for scholars to collaborate and share findings. Yet, as powerful as these tools are, they're not a magic solution. Technology can analyze patterns, but it still requires human insight to interpret them. A computer might identify a recurring symbol as a potential word or grammatical marker, but it takes a linguist to connect that symbol to its cultural or historical context. This partnership between human expertise and technological innovation is what makes modern decipherment so exciting. It's not about replacing scholars with machines. It's about giving them the tools to see further, dig deeper, and think in new ways. What's perhaps most inspiring about these advancements is their potential to democratize the study of ancient scripts. With digital archives and online tools, researchers from around the world can access and analyze texts that were once locked away in museums or private collections. Projects like the Rosetta Project, which aims to preserve and share knowledge of endangered languages, are using technology to ensure that these precious records aren't lost to future generations. It's a reminder that the study of ancient scripts isn't just about solving puzzles, it's about preserving our shared heritage. As we continue to push the boundaries of what's possible, one thing is clear: technology is transforming the way we understand the past. From AI algorithms that analyze linguistic patterns to 3D models that bring ancient inscriptions to life, these tools are giving us new ways to connect with the voices of history. And while some mysteries may still remain unsolved, the journey to uncover them is more exciting than ever. Each breakthrough, each new tool, brings us closer to hearing the stories that time has tried to silence, a reminder that the past is never truly out of reach. When it comes to unlocking the secrets of ancient scripts, few tools are as powerful or as rare as bilingual inscriptions. These texts, written in two languages side by side, act as linguistic bridges, allowing scholars to compare known and unknown languages and piece together their meanings. The most famous example is, of course, the Rosetta Stone, which provided the key to deciphering Egyptian hieroglyphs, but it's far from the only one. Across the globe, other bilingual inscriptions have played equally transformative roles in our understanding of the past. Take the Behistun inscription, for instance. Carved high on a cliff in western Iran, this monumental text, written in Old Persian, Elamite, and Babylonian cuneiform, became the Rosetta Stone of Mesopotamian studies. It was through this trilingual masterpiece that scholars were able to crack the code of cuneiform, one of the world's earliest writing systems. What makes bilingual inscriptions so invaluable is their ability to provide a direct line of comparison. Imagine trying to learn a new language with no dictionary or translation guide. It would be nearly impossible. Bilingual texts offer that missing dictionary, giving scholars a starting point to map symbols to sounds, words, and meanings. The Rosetta Stone, for example, contained the same decree written in Greek, Demotic, and Hieroglyphs. Because Greek was already well understood, it served as a Rosetta Stone in the truest sense, allowing Jean-Francois Champollion and others to decode the hieroglyphs that had puzzled scholars for centuries. Similarly, the Behistun inscription's trilingual format gave researchers a way to cross-reference the three scripts, unlocking the secrets of cuneiform and opening the door to understanding ancient Mesopotamian culture. Yet for all their importance, bilingual inscriptions are incredibly rare. Most ancient scripts don't come with such convenient guides. In fact, the discovery of texts like the Rosetta Stone or the Behistun inscription is often a matter of sheer luck. These inscriptions were typically created for specific purposes, commemorating a king's achievements, recording a legal decree, or marking a significant event. They weren't intended to serve as linguistic keys for future generations. Their survival, often in remote or inaccessible locations, is a testament to the resilience of history itself. And their scarcity only underscores their value. Without them, many ancient scripts might have remained forever silent. But even when bilingual inscriptions exist, deciphering them is no simple task. The texts often contain gaps, damage, or inconsistencies that complicate the process. For example, the Behistun inscription was carved on a sheer cliff face, making it difficult to access and study. Over time, erosion and weathering have obscured parts of the text, leaving scholars to fill in the blanks with educated guesses. Similarly, the Rosetta Stone is incomplete, with sections of the hieroglyphic and demotic texts missing. These challenges remind us that while bilingual inscriptions are powerful tools, they're not magic wands. Decipherment still requires painstaking analysis, creativity, and a deep understanding of the languages and cultures involved. What's remarkable about these inscriptions is how they connect us to the people who created them. The Rosetta Stone, for instance, wasn't just a linguistic tool. It was a political statement designed to communicate the authority of the Ptolemaic dynasty to a multilingual population. The Behistun inscription, meanwhile, was a declaration of power by the Persian king Darius the Great, carved into a cliff to ensure its visibility for generations to come. These texts weren't just about language, they were about identity, authority, and the desire to leave a lasting mark on history. By deciphering them, we're not just solving a puzzle, we're reclaiming the stories and voices of those who shaped the ancient world. The role of bilingual inscriptions in decipherment is a reminder of how interconnected our understanding of history really is. Each text is a thread in a larger tapestry, linking languages, cultures, and civilizations across time. And while these inscriptions may be rare, their impact is profound. They show us that even the most enigmatic scripts are not beyond our reach, that with the right tools, patience, and creativity, we can unlock the secrets of the past and bring the voices of ancient civilizations back to life. In a world where so much has been lost to time, These bilingual texts are a beacon of hope, proving that the stories of the past are never truly gone, they're just waiting to be rediscovered. Symbols in ancient scripts are far more than just letters or characters, they're intricate tapestries of meaning, woven with layers of cultural, spiritual, and practical significance. Take Egyptian hieroglyphs, for example. At first glance, they might seem like simple pictures, a bird, a hand, or a sun disk, but each of these symbols could represent a sound, a word, or even an entire concept, depending on the context. The hieroglyph for a swallow, for instance, could stand for the bird itself, the sound, WR, or the idea of greatness. This duality, or sometimes multiplicity, of meaning is what makes ancient scripts so rich and so challenging to decipher. It's not just about translating words, it's about understanding the cultural and symbolic frameworks that gave those words depth, but hieroglyphs are just the beginning. Across the ancient world, symbols often carried meanings that went far beyond the literal. In Mayan glyphs, for example, a single symbol could represent both a phonetic sound and a specific deity, embedding layers of religious significance into the text. The symbol for the sun god, Inish-Ajah, wasn't just a way to write the god's name, it was a visual invocation of his power and presence. Similarly, in Chinese oracle bone script, one of the oldest forms of writing, symbols often combined pictorial elements with abstract meanings, creating a script that was as much about art as it was about communication. These examples remind us that ancient scripts weren't just tools for recording information, they were expressions of identity, belief, and worldview. Understanding these layers of meaning requires more than just linguistic expertise. It demands a deep dive into the cultural context that shaped the script. Consider the case of Mesopotamian cuneiform. The wedge-shaped symbols etched into clay tablets weren't just arbitrary marks. They were reflections of a society deeply tied to agriculture, trade, and governance. A symbol representing a grain of barley wasn't just about food. It could also signify wealth, offerings to the gods, or even the passage of time in a society that measured years by harvests. Without an understanding of these cultural connections, the true meaning of the script would remain hidden, like a story written in a language we only partly understand. This interplay between symbol and culture is what makes deciphering ancient scripts so fascinating and so complex. Symbols often carry meanings that shift depending on their context, much like how the same word in English can have different connotations depending on how it's used. In Egyptian hieroglyphs, for instance, the Ankh symbol, a cross with a loop at the top, could mean life in a religious text, but it might also represent the concept of eternity in a funerary inscription. These subtle shifts in meaning are clues to the values and priorities of the people who use the script, offering a window into their world. What's remarkable about these symbolic systems is how they reflect the creativity and adaptability of human communication. They show us that writing isn't just a way to record information, it's a way to convey ideas, emotions, and identities. Every stroke of a symbol, every curve of a glyph is a thread in the fabric of a culture's story. And when we learn to read these symbols, we're not just decoding a language, we're stepping into the minds of the people who created it, seeing the world through their eyes and understanding how they made sense of their place in it. This deeper understanding of symbols also highlights the importance of collaboration in decipherment. Linguists, archaeologists, and historians must work together to piece together the cultural context that gives symbols their meaning. It's a process that requires patience, creativity, and a willingness to see beyond the surface, but the rewards are immense. Every symbol decoded, every layer of meaning uncovered, brings us closer to the people who wrote them. and to the stories they wanted to tell. In the end, the study of ancient scripts isn't just about solving puzzles. It's about connecting with the humanity that binds us across time and space. The story of writing begins not with letters or words, but with pictures. Long before the first alphabet was invented, humans used pictograms, simple images representing objects or ideas, to communicate. Think of a drawing of the sun to signify day, or a wavy line to represent water. These early symbols were direct and intuitive, a way to convey meaning without the need for spoken language. But as societies grew more complex, so did their need for communication. Pictograms alone couldn't capture the nuances of trade agreements, religious rituals, or historical events. And so, writing systems began to evolve, transforming from simple images into intricate scripts that could express not just objects, but sounds, ideas, and emotions. One of the earliest leaps in this evolution was the development of logographic systems, where symbols represented entire words or concepts. Ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs and Chinese oracle bone script are prime examples. In these systems, a single symbol could carry multiple layers of meaning, blending the visual with the abstract. For instance, the Chinese character for mountain looks like a simplified depiction of peaks, but over time, it also came to represent related ideas like high or lofty. This flexibility made logographic scripts incredibly powerful, but also complex. Writing became an art form, requiring years of study to master, and scripts became deeply intertwined with the cultures that created them. As civilizations expanded and interacted, their scripts began to change, adapting to new languages, technologies, and cultural needs. The cuneiform script of Mesopotamia started as a series of pictograms pressed into clay tablets, but over time, it evolved into a more abstract system of wedge-shaped marks representing syllables. Similarly, the Phoenician alphabet, one of the earliest phonetic writing systems, emerged as a way to simplify communication for traders who needed a quick, efficient way to record transactions. This shift from logographic to phonetic writing was revolutionary. Instead of memorizing thousands of symbols, people could now use a smaller set of characters to represent the sounds of their language. The Phoenician alphabet, with its 22 letters, became the foundation for many modern alphabets, including Greek, Latin, and eventually English. But this evolution didn't happen in isolation. Writing systems often borrowed from one another, blending ideas and adapting to new contexts. The Greek alphabet, for example, took the Phoenician system and added vowels, making it more versatile for recording poetry, philosophy, and history. The Etruscans, in turn, adapted the Greek alphabet to suit their own language, and the Romans later refined it into the script we still use today. This constant borrowing and reshaping is a testament to the fluidity of writing, a living system that grows and changes alongside the people who use it. Yet, this very adaptability can also complicate efforts to decipher ancient scripts. When a writing system evolves, its symbols can shift in meaning, making it difficult to trace their origins. A symbol that once represented a specific object might later come to stand for a sound or an abstract concept. Over time, these changes can obscure the original meaning, leaving modern scholars to piece together fragments of a puzzle that's constantly shifting. The Indus Valley script, for instance, remains undeciphered in part because it lacks clear connections to later writing systems. Without a bridge between its symbols and a known language, the script remains a mystery, its evolution frozen in time. This complexity is a reminder of how deeply writing systems are tied to the cultures that create them. A script isn't just a tool for communication, It's a reflection of how people see the world, how they organize their thoughts, and how they connect with one another. From the earliest pictograms to the alphabets we use today, the evolution of writing is a story of human ingenuity and adaptability. It's a testament to our desire to record, to remember, and to share our stories across generations. As we trace the development of writing systems, we're reminded that every symbol, every letter, carries with it the weight of history. They're not just marks on a page. They're echoes of the people who created them, their struggles, their triumphs, and their dreams. And while the journey to decipher these scripts can be fraught with challenges, it's also a journey of discovery, one that brings us closer to understanding the rich tapestry of human culture. The evolution of writing is a story that's still being written, and every new discovery adds another chapter to the ongoing narrative of who we are. Languages are more than just tools for communication. They are the living essence of a culture, carrying within them the stories, beliefs, and identities of the people who speak them. But what happens when a language disappears, when the last speaker of a tongue passes away? An entire world of knowledge, tradition, and history can vanish with them. This loss isn't just a tragedy for the community it belongs to. It's a loss for all of humanity. And when it comes to ancient scripts, the extinction of languages creates a barrier that can make decipherment nearly impossible. Without the living context of a language, even the most meticulously preserved texts can become silent relics, their stories locked away forever. Consider the Sumerian language, one of the earliest known written languages in human history. Spoken in ancient Mesopotamia over 5,000 years ago, Sumerian was the language of city-states like Uruk and Ur, where it was used to record everything from epic poetry to trade receipts. But as centuries passed, Sumerian was gradually replaced by Akkadian, a Semitic language, and eventually faded into obscurity. Today, Sumerian is what linguists call a language isolate. It has no known relatives, no living descendants, and no direct connections to modern tongues. While we've managed to reconstruct some of its vocabulary and grammar, much of it remains a mystery. The loss of Sumerian as a living language has left scholars struggling to fully understand the texts it produced, from the Epic of Gilgamesh to administrative records etched into clay tablets. The extinction of languages like Sumerian isn't just a linguistic challenge, it's a cultural and historical tragedy. Every language carries with it a unique way of seeing the world, a system of thought, a set of values, and a connection to the land and people who created it. When a language dies, we lose more than just words. We lose the stories, songs, and traditions that define a community. For the Sumerians, their language was intertwined with their religion, their governance, and their daily lives. The hymns they wrote to their gods, the laws they codified, and the myths they passed down were all expressions of their identity. Without Sumerian, we're left with only fragments of that identity, piecing together a civilization from the remnants of its written records. The challenges of reconstructing a lost language are immense. Without native speakers or living descendants, linguists must rely on indirect methods to piece together its structure and meaning. In the case of Sumerian, scholars have used bilingual texts where Sumerian is paired with a known language like Akkadian to identify words and phrases. They've also studied the cultural context of the texts, looking for clues in the art, architecture, and daily practices of the Sumerians. But even with these tools, there are limits to what we can recover. Some aspects of the language, like its tone or rhythm, may be lost forever, leaving us with an incomplete picture of its richness and nuance. This loss isn't unique to Sumerian. Across the globe, languages are disappearing at an alarming rate. with some estimates suggesting that up to half of the world's 7,000 languages could vanish by the end of this century. Each time a language dies, we lose a piece of our shared human heritage. For ancient scripts, this means that the keys to understanding them may be slipping away before we even have a chance to decode them. The Rongorongo script of Easter Island, for example, remains undeciphered in part because the Rapa Nui language has evolved so dramatically since the script was created. Without a direct link to its original form, the script's meaning may remain locked away. Yet, there's hope. Efforts to preserve endangered languages are growing, from grassroots initiatives in indigenous communities to global projects like UNESCO Atlas of the world's languages in danger. By documenting and revitalizing these languages, we're not just saving words, we're preserving the stories, knowledge, and identities they carry. And for ancient scripts, this work is vital. Every language we save is a potential key to unlocking the past, a bridge to understanding the civilizations that came before us. The loss of a language is a loss of connection to the people who spoke it, the culture it represented, and the history it preserved. But it's also a call to action. As we work to decode ancient scripts, we're reminded of the importance of preserving the languages that still exist today. They are the threads that connect us to the past, and the keys to understanding the stories that have shaped our world. In the end, the study of lost languages isn't just about deciphering texts, it's about honoring the voices of those who came before us and ensuring that their stories are not forgotten. In the world of ancient scripts, the line between writing and art is often blurred. Many of these texts aren't just collections of symbols, they're visual masterpieces, filled with intricate illustrations that offer a window into the culture that created them. Take the Voynich manuscript, for example. Its pages are alive with strange, otherworldly drawings, plants that seem to defy nature, celestial charts mapping unknown skies, and figures engaged in mysterious rituals. These images aren't mere decorations, they're clues hinting at the manuscript's possible purpose. Could it be a scientific text, a medical manual, or even a guide to alchemical processes? Without the ability to read the script, the illustrations become our best hope for understanding its meaning. But the Voynich manuscript is far from unique in this regard. Across cultures and time periods, art and writing have often gone hand in hand, each enriching the other. In ancient Egypt, hieroglyphs weren't just carved into stone, they were painted in vivid colors, integrated seamlessly into scenes of gods, pharaohs, and daily life. The symbols themselves were often works of art, their forms carefully chosen to reflect the beauty and harmony of the world they described. Similarly, in Mayan codices, glyphs are surrounded by elaborate illustrations of gods, rituals, and celestial events, creating a visual narrative that complements the written text. These artistic elements aren't just embellishments, they're integral to the script's meaning, offering context and depth that words alone cannot convey. This interplay between art and writing is especially important when it comes to decipherment. For scholars, illustrations can provide vital clues about a script's purpose and cultural significance. In the case of the Voynich manuscript, the botanical drawings have led some researchers to speculate that it might be a herbal or medical text, while the astrological diagrams suggest a connection to astronomy or astrology. Similarly, in the Mayan codices, the illustrations of gods and rituals help linguists interpret the accompanying glyphs, offering insights into the religious and ceremonial practices of the Maya. By studying these visual elements, scholars can begin to piece together the broader context of the script, even when the language itself remains a mystery. But deciphering these texts isn't just a task for linguists. It requires an interdisciplinary approach, drawing on expertise from fields like art history, archaeology, and even botany. For the Voynich manuscript, botanists have studied the plant illustrations in an attempt to identify real-world counterparts, while art historians have analyzed the style and composition of the drawings to place the manuscript in its historical context. Similarly, in the study of Mayan codices, archaeologists have used their knowledge of Mayan architecture and iconography to interpret the glyphs and illustrations, creating a more complete picture of the civilization that produced them. This collaboration across disciplines is what makes the study of ancient scripts so rich and rewarding. It's a collective effort to uncover the stories hidden within these texts. What's fascinating about this interplay between art and writing is how it reflects the way ancient cultures saw the world. For them, writing wasn't just a practical tool for communication, it was a form of expression, a way to capture the beauty and complexity of their world. The intricate illustrations in the Voynich manuscript, the vivid colors of Egyptian hieroglyphs, and the elaborate scenes in Mayan codices all speak to a deep connection between the visual and the verbal, the artistic and the linguistic. By studying these texts, we're not just deciphering a language, we're exploring a culture's creativity, its worldview, and its values. The role of art in ancient scripts is a reminder that these texts are more than just puzzles to be solved. They're windows into the minds of the people who created them, offering glimpses of their lives, their beliefs, and their aspirations. And while the process of decipherment can be slow and painstaking, it's also deeply rewarding. Every illustration analyzed, every symbol decoded, brings us closer to understanding the rich tapestry of human history. In the end, the study of ancient scripts isn't just about unlocking the past. It's about appreciating the artistry and ingenuity of those who came before us and the stories they left behind for us to discover. When it comes to deciphering ancient scripts, there's a persistent myth that every code can be cracked, that with enough time, technology, and effort, no mystery is truly unsolvable. It's an appealing idea, one that speaks to our innate desire for answers and closure, but the reality is far more complex. While we've made incredible strides in decoding scripts like Egyptian hieroglyphs and Linear B, there are still many ancient writing systems that resist our best efforts. The truth is, not every script will yield its secrets, and that's not necessarily a failure. It's a reflection of the challenges we face when trying to bridge the gap between the past and the present. One of the biggest misconceptions about decipherment is that it's purely a matter of effort or intelligence. If we just work hard enough, the thinking goes, we'll eventually crack the code. But deciphering an ancient script isn't like solving a crossword puzzle or a math problem. It's a process that depends on a wide range of factors, from the availability of bilingual texts to the preservation of cultural context. Without these crucial pieces of the puzzle, even the most brilliant linguists can hit a wall. Take the Indus Valley script, for example. Despite decades of study and countless theories, we still don't know what it says. The script's isolation, combined with the lack of a bilingual key or a clear connection to a known language, has left scholars with little to work with. It's a reminder that sometimes the keys to understanding the past are simply lost to time. Another common myth is that technology will eventually solve all our problems. While tools like artificial intelligence and 3D imaging have revolutionized the field, they're not magic bullets. Technology can help us analyze patterns and preserve fragile texts, but it can't replace the human insights needed to interpret them. A computer might identify recurring symbols or suggest possible phonetic values, but it can't tell us what those symbols meant to the people who used them. Decipherment requires more than just data. It requires a deep understanding of the culture, history, and context that shaped the script. Without that, even the most advanced algorithms can only take us so far. There's also an ethical dimension to consider when interpreting ancient texts. Decipherment isn't just about solving a puzzle, it's about understanding a culture on its own terms. When we impose our modern assumptions or biases onto ancient scripts, we risk distorting their meaning. For example, early interpretations of Mayan glyphs often portrayed the Maya as a peaceful, mystical people, ignoring the evidence of warfare and political intrigue in their texts. It wasn't until scholars began to approach the script with a more nuanced understanding of Mayan culture that a more accurate picture emerged. This serves as a cautionary tale. Decipherment isn't just about translating words, it's about listening to the voices of the past without letting our own expectations drown them out. And then there's the question of whether some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved. While it's tempting to see every undeciphered script as a problem waiting to be fixed, there's something profound about the idea that some secrets are meant to endure. The Voynich manuscript, with its cryptic script and bizarre illustrations, has defied interpretation for centuries, and yet its mystery is part of its allure. It sparks curiosity, inspires creativity, and reminds us that there are still things in the world that defy explanation. In a way, these unsolved puzzles are a gift. They keep us humble, reminding us that the past is full of stories we may never fully understand. Decipherment is as much about the journey as it is about the destination. It's a process that challenges us to think differently, to collaborate across disciplines, and to approach the past with both curiosity and respect. And while we may never unlock every ancient script, the effort itself is a testament to our enduring desire to connect with the people who came before us. The stories they left behind are more than just words on a page, they're invitations to explore, to question, and to wonder. And in that sense, even the scripts we can't decipher still have something important to teach us. Colonialism didn't just reshape borders and economies, it also left a profound mark on the written word. Across the globe, the arrival of colonial powers often brought with it the suppression of indigenous languages and the destruction of cultural artifacts, including ancient scripts. These weren't just acts of conquest, they were deliberate efforts to erase identities and histories. In the Americas, for example, Spanish colonizers burned countless Mayan codices, leaving only a handful of these precious texts to survive. In Africa, European powers dismissed local scripts as primitive, prioritizing their own languages and writing systems. These actions didn't just silence voices, they severed the threads connecting communities to their past. The impact of colonialism on scripts isn't just a story of loss, it's also a story of resilience. Despite centuries of suppression, many indigenous communities have fought to preserve and revive their written traditions. Take the Cherokee syllabary, created by Sequoyah in the early 19th century. At a time when the Cherokee people were under immense pressure to assimilate, Sequoyah's invention became a powerful tool for cultural preservation. Today, the syllabary is still in use, a testament to the enduring strength of indigenous languages and scripts. Similarly, in Ethiopia, the Ge'ez script, once the language of ancient Aksum, has been preserved through the liturgical texts of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, surviving centuries of colonial influence. But the scars of colonialism are still felt today. Many ancient scripts remain fragmented or lost, their meanings obscured by the passage of time and the destruction wrought by colonial powers. The Rongorongo script of Easter Island, for instance, was nearly wiped out after European contact, with much of the knowledge surrounding it lost to disease and cultural upheaval. Similarly, the destruction of the Aztec codices by Spanish missionaries means that we may never fully understand the intricacies of Nahuatl writing. These losses aren't just historical footnotes, they're gaps in our collective memory, reminders of how much has been taken from us. Yet there's hope. Around the world, initiatives are underway to reclaim and revive these ancient scripts. In Mexico, scholars and indigenous communities are working together to reconstruct the lost codices of the Aztecs, using surviving fragments and oral traditions to piece together their meaning. In India, efforts to preserve the ancient Brahmi script, which gave rise to many South Asian writing systems, have gained momentum, with digital archives and educational programs ensuring its survival for future generations. These projects aren't just about preserving the past, they are about reclaiming identity, empowering communities, and ensuring that the voices of the past aren't forgotten. The legacy of colonialism reminds us that the study of ancient scripts isn't just an academic pursuit, it's an act of justice. By working to decode and preserve these texts, we're not just uncovering history, we're honoring the resilience of the people who created them. It's a reminder that every symbol, every word, carries with it the weight of a culture's struggle and survival. And as we continue to explore the world's ancient scripts, we're reminded of the importance of listening to those voices, of amplifying them, and of ensuring that their stories are never silenced again. In the face of cultural erasure and the passage of time, there's a growing movement to breathe new life into ancient scripts, not just as relics of the past, but as vibrant tools for the present. Take the Cherokee syllabary, for example, created in the early 19th century by Sequoyah, a Cherokee silversmith. This writing system was more than a linguistic innovation, it was an act of resistance. At a time when the Cherokee people faced forced assimilation and displacement, the syllabary became a powerful symbol of cultural survival. Today, it's still in use, taught in schools, and celebrated in literature, art, and technology. It's a living testament to the resilience of a people who refused to let their voice be silenced. But the revival of ancient scripts isn't just about preserving the past, it's about forging connections between generations. Consider the extraordinary story of Hebrew, a language that had ceased to be spoken in daily life for nearly 2,000 years. By the 19th century, Hebrew existed primarily in religious texts, a sacred language frozen in time. Yet through the efforts of scholars and activists, it was revived as a spoken language, becoming the foundation of modern Israeli society. This revival wasn't just a linguistic achievement, it was a cultural reawakening, a way for a dispersed people to reconnect with their heritage and build a shared identity. Hebrew's revival shows us that scripts aren't just historical artifacts, they are bridges between the past and the future. These efforts to revive scripts often go hand in hand with broader cultural movements. In Ethiopia, for instance, the Ge'ez script, once the language of the ancient Aksumite Empire, has been preserved through the liturgical texts of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. But today, it's also being reclaimed as a symbol of national pride, appearing in everything from contemporary art to digital media. Similarly, in India, the ancient Brahmi script, which gave rise to many South Asian writing systems, is being studied and celebrated as part of a broader effort to honor the country's rich linguistic heritage. These initiatives remind us that scripts are more than just writing systems, they're expressions of identity, markers of belonging, and tools for cultural renewal. What's striking about these revival efforts is how they blend tradition with innovation. In the digital age, ancient scripts are finding new life through technology. The Cherokee syllabary, for instance, is now supported by Unicode, making it accessible on computers and smartphones. This digital integration ensures that the script remains relevant in a world that increasingly communicates through screens. Similarly, projects like the Rosetta Project are using digital archives to preserve endangered scripts, creating a global repository of linguistic diversity. By combining ancient knowledge with modern tools, these efforts ensure that scripts don't just survive, they thrive, yet the revival of scripts isn't without its challenges. Many ancient writing systems were lost or suppressed during periods of colonization and cultural upheaval, leaving behind fragmented knowledge and forgotten traditions. Reconstructing these scripts often requires painstaking research, collaboration with descendant communities, and a deep respect for the cultural context in which they were created. It's a process that demands both technical expertise and emotional sensitivity, as scholars and activists work to ensure that these revivals are done in a way that honors the people who created them. At its heart, the revival of ancient scripts is about more than just language. It's about reclaiming stories, identities, and connections. Every time a script is revived, it's as if a thread is reconnected, linking modern communities to their ancestors in a profound and lasting way. These scripts are living links to the past, reminders that the voices of history are never truly gone, they're just waiting for the right moment to speak again. And as we continue to uncover and revive these ancient writing systems, we're reminded of the power of language to unite, to inspire, and to endure. As we delve into the mysteries of ancient scripts, it's easy to focus solely on the thrill of discovery, the moment when a long-lost language finally reveals its secrets. But behind every breakthrough lies a complex web of ethical questions. Who has the right to study these scripts? How do we ensure that our interpretations honor the cultures they come from? And what happens when the pursuit of knowledge risks overshadowing the voices of the people who created these texts? These aren't just intellectual challenges, they're moral ones, forcing us to confront the responsibilities that come with deciphering the past. One of the most pressing ethical issues is the question of cultural ownership. Ancient scripts often belong to communities whose descendants still exist today. For these groups, these texts are more than just historical artifacts. They're living connections to their ancestors, their traditions, and their identity. When researchers study these scripts without involving or consulting the communities they come from, they risk perpetuating a colonial mindset, treating these cultures as relics rather than as living, breathing entities. Take the case of the Rongorongo script of Easter Island. For decades, scholars from outside the Rapa Nui community have tried to decode its symbols, often without meaningful collaboration with the people who hold its cultural context. This approach not only risks misinterpretation, but also undermines the Rapa Nui's right to control their own heritage. But the ethical challenges don't stop at ownership. There's also the risk of misinterpretation, of imposing our own biases and assumptions onto ancient texts. When we approach a script with preconceived notions, we run the danger of distorting its meaning, effectively rewriting history to fit our own narrative. Early attempts to decipher Mayan glyphs, for instance, were heavily influenced by European perspectives, leading to interpretations that painted the Maya as a peaceful, mystical people. It wasn't until scholars began to approach these texts through the lens of Mayan culture, studying their art, architecture, and oral traditions, that a more accurate, nuanced picture emerged. This shift highlights the importance of humility in decipherment, of recognizing that our understanding is always partial, always evolving. So how do researchers navigate these ethical minefields? Increasingly, The answer lies in collaboration. By working closely with descendant communities, scholars can ensure that their work respects cultural boundaries and priorities. This might mean involving community members in the research process, sharing findings in ways that are accessible and meaningful, or even stepping back when a community decides that certain scripts should remain private or sacred. In some cases, it might mean acknowledging that not every script is meant to be deciphered, that some mysteries are best left unsolved, at least for now. This collaborative approach isn't just about ethics, it's also about better scholarship. When researchers engage with the people who hold the cultural context of a script, they gain access to insights that might otherwise be overlooked. Oral histories, traditional practices, and local knowledge can provide invaluable clues, helping to unlock meanings that a purely academic approach might miss. It's a reminder that decipherment isn't just about solving a puzzle, it's about building relationships, about listening as much as we learn. At its core, the ethics of decipherment is about balance, balancing the desire for knowledge with the need to honor the cultures we study, balancing our curiosity with our responsibility to the past. It's a challenge that forces us to confront our own biases, to question our assumptions, and to recognize that the stories we uncover aren't just ours to tell. They belong to the people who created them, to the communities who carry them forward, and to the world as a whole. And as we continue to explore the mysteries of ancient scripts, we're reminded that the most important discoveries aren't just about what we learn, they're about how we learn it and who we learn it with. Writing systems are more than just tools for communication, they are the very fabric of cultural identity, weaving together the past, present, and future of the communities that create them. Think about it. When you see Chinese characters or the flowing script of the Arabic alphabet, you're not just looking at words, you're witnessing a living connection to civilizations that have endured for thousands of years. These scripts are more than letters on a page. They are symbols of resilience, continuity, and belonging, carrying the weight of history and the hopes of generations. Take Chinese characters, for example. With a history stretching back over 3 millennia, this writing system is one of the oldest still in use today. But its significance goes far beyond its age. Chinese characters are a unifying force, linking speakers of vastly different dialects under a shared system of writing. Whether you're in Beijing, Shanghai, or Taipei, the characters remain the same, creating a sense of cultural cohesion that transcends regional differences. This continuity is especially remarkable in a world where languages and scripts often fade away. Chinese characters have not only survived but thrived, adapting to new technologies and modern challenges while preserving the traditions and stories of the past. Similarly, the Arabic script is a powerful symbol of cultural identity and continuity. Used across the Middle East, North Africa, and beyond, it connects millions of people through a shared system of writing that has endured for over 1,000 years. But the Arabic script is more than just a means of communication, it's an art form. From the intricate calligraphy adorning mosques to the elegant curves of handwritten poetry, the script is deeply intertwined with Islamic culture and spirituality. It's a reminder that writing isn't just about conveying information, it's about expressing beauty, faith, and a sense of belonging. What's fascinating about these scripts is how they've evolved alongside the cultures they represent. Chinese characters, for instance, have shifted from being purely logographic, where each symbol represents a word, to incorporating phonetic elements, making them more adaptable to modern needs. The Arabic script, too, has seen variations across regions, From the ornate Kufic style of early Islamic manuscripts to the more streamlined Naskh used in everyday writing today. Yet, despite these changes, the core identity of these scripts remains intact, a testament to their enduring cultural significance. But the role of scripts in shaping identity isn't just about preservation, it's also about connection. For the Chinese diaspora, writing in characters can be a way to stay connected to their heritage, even when living far from home. For Arabic speakers, the script is a link to a shared history and faith, a reminder of the deep roots that bind them together. In both cases, these writing systems serve as anchors, grounding communities in their traditions while allowing them to navigate the complexities of a globalized world. This connection between scripts and identity is particularly poignant in the face of cultural change. When a script is lost or suppressed, it's not just a linguistic loss, it's a rupture in the cultural fabric. The erosion of indigenous scripts in the Americas during colonization, for example, wasn't just about language, it was about dismantling entire ways of life. Conversely, the revival of scripts like the Cherokee syllabary or the Hebrew alphabet shows how reclaiming a writing system can be an act of cultural revival and empowerment. These scripts become symbols of resilience, proving that even in the face of adversity, identity can endure. At its heart, the relationship between scripts and identity is a story of continuity. Writing systems are more than just tools for recording information, they are living expressions of who we are, where we come from, and what we value. They carry the stories of our ancestors, the hopes of our communities, and the promise of our future. And as we continue to explore the world's ancient scripts, we're reminded of the profound power of the written word, not just to communicate, but to connect, to preserve, and to inspire. In every stroke of a character, every curve of a glyph, we find a reflection of the human spirit, a testament to our shared desire to leave a mark on the world. As we stand on the cusp of a new era in decipherment, the future holds incredible promise for unlocking the secrets of ancient scripts. Emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and advanced imaging are revolutionizing the way we approach these enigmatic texts. Imagine algorithms that can analyze thousands of symbols in seconds, identifying patterns and connections that might take a human scholar decades to uncover. Already, projects are underway using AI to tackle the Voynich manuscript and other undeciphered scripts, offering fresh insights that could finally crack codes that have baffled researchers for centuries. These tools aren't just faster, they're capable of seeing patterns and possibilities that might otherwise go unnoticed, opening up entirely new avenues for exploration. But technology alone isn't the answer. The future of decipherment will also depend on interdisciplinary collaboration, bringing together experts from fields as diverse as linguistics, archaeology, computer science, and even art history. Think of it as a global team effort, where each discipline contributes a piece of the puzzle. Archaeologists might uncover new artifacts that provide context for a script, while linguists analyze its structure and computer scientists develop algorithms to process the data. This kind of collaboration isn't just about pooling resources, it's about combining perspectives, sparking new ideas, and approaching problems in ways that no single field could achieve alone. It's a reminder that the quest to decode ancient scripts is as much about human ingenuity as it is about technological innovation. One of the most exciting possibilities lies in the field of data sharing and digital archives. As more ancient texts are digitized and made accessible online, Researchers from around the world can study them without the need to travel to distant museums or excavation sites. Projects like the Digital Archive of Brief Notes and Inscriptions in the Near East are already creating vast repositories of texts, making it easier than ever for scholars to collaborate and compare findings. This global approach not only accelerates the pace of discovery, but also ensures that the study of ancient scripts is more inclusive, giving voice to researchers and communities who might otherwise be excluded from the conversation. Yet, as we look to the future, it's important to remember that decipherment isn't just about solving puzzles, it's about understanding the people behind the scripts. Every symbol, every glyph is a reflection of a culture's values, beliefs, and way of life. The stories these scripts tell aren't just historical curiosities, they're windows into the human experience, offering lessons that are as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. What can the meticulous record-keeping of the Sumerians teach us about governance and accountability? How might the spiritual symbolism of Mayan glyphs inspire us to think differently about our connection to the natural world? These are the questions that keep us searching, reminding us that the past still has much to teach us. The future of decipherment is not just about unlocking the past, it's about enriching the present. By studying ancient scripts, we gain a deeper appreciation for the diversity and creativity of human cultures, and a greater understanding of the threads that connect us across time and space. It's a journey that challenges us to be curious, collaborative, and open to new possibilities. And as we continue to explore these ancient mysteries, we're reminded that the stories they hold are not just relics of history, they're invitations to learn, to grow, and to imagine a future where the voices of the past are finally heard. For centuries, the intricate glyphs carved into the temples and codices of the ancient Maya were seen as little more than mystical symbols, beautiful but impenetrable. Early explorers and scholars dismissed them as mere decoration, unable to fathom that these elaborate carvings held the keys to understanding one of the most advanced civilizations of the ancient world. The Maya, with their towering pyramids, precise calendars, and sophisticated mathematics, left behind a legacy that was as enigmatic as it was awe-inspiring. But their written language, one of the few fully developed writing systems in the pre-Columbian Americas, remained a mystery. That is, until a series of breakthroughs in the mid-20th century turned the tide, revealing a world of history, science, and culture that had been hiding in plain sight. The story of deciphering Mayan glyphs is as much about persistence as it is about genius. For years, scholars struggled to make sense of the script, often led astray by misconceptions and flawed theories. One of the most persistent myths was that the glyphs were purely symbolic, representing ideas rather than sounds or words. This belief, coupled with the limited number of surviving texts, made progress slow and frustrating. But everything changed with the work of Yuri Norisov, a Russian linguist who would revolutionize the field. In the 1950s, Norisov proposed a radical idea that Mayan glyphs were not just symbols but a combination of phonetic and logographic elements. This meant that the script could represent both sounds and entire words, much like modern Chinese characters or Egyptian hieroglyphs. Norisov's breakthrough came from an unexpected source, a 16th-century Spanish manuscript known as the Relación de las Cosas de Yucatán, written by Bishop Diego de Landa. While de Landa had sought to erase Mayan culture during the Spanish conquest, his manuscript included a partial alphabet of Mayan glyphs, which he believed corresponded to Spanish letters. Norisov realized that this so-called alphabet was actually a key to understanding the phonetic nature of Mayan writing. By analyzing de Landa's notes and comparing them to the glyphs, Norisov was able to identify phonetic values for certain symbols, proving that the script was not purely symbolic but a complex system that combined sound and meaning. Norisov's work laid the foundation for modern Mayan linguistics, but it was far from the end of the story. His theories faced fierce resistance from scholars who clung to older, more simplistic interpretations of the glyphs. It wasn't until decades later, through the efforts of researchers like Linda Scheel and David Stewart, that Norisov's ideas gained widespread acceptance. These scholars built on his work, using a combination of linguistic analysis, archaeological evidence, and cultural context to unlock the full potential of Mayan writing. They discovered that the glyphs could record everything from royal genealogies and astronomical events to everyday transactions, offering a vivid picture of Mayan life that had been lost for centuries. The impact of this decipherment cannot be overstated. Suddenly, the walls of ancient temples came alive with stories of kings, warriors, and gods. The Dresden Codex, one of the few surviving Mayan books, revealed intricate astronomical calculations that demonstrated the Mayas' advanced understanding of the cosmos. Inscriptions on stelae and monuments provided detailed accounts of historical events, from the rise and fall of dynasties to the rituals that shaped their society. The glyphs even shed light on the Mayas' relationship with their environment, documenting everything from agricultural practices to the impact of droughts. In short, the decipherment of Mayan glyphs transformed our understanding of the Maya from a mysterious, vanished civilization to a vibrant, complex society with a rich written tradition. Yet, the story of Mayan decipherment is also a reminder of how much we still have to learn. While we've made tremendous progress, many glyphs remain undeciphered, and new discoveries continue to challenge our assumptions. What's clear, however, is that the work of scholars like Norisov, Scheel, and Stewart has opened a door to the past that can never be closed. Through their efforts, we've gained not just a deeper understanding of the Maya, but a profound appreciation for the power of language to preserve and convey the human experience. The glyphs are more than just a writing system. They are a testament to the ingenuity, creativity, and resilience of a people who left their mark on history in ways we are only beginning to understand. Picture this, a bustling marketplace in ancient Mesopotamia, where merchants tally goods on clay tablets using simple marks. Over time, these marks evolve into something far more sophisticated, a writing system that would change the course of human history. This is the story of cuneiform, one of the world's earliest scripts, born not from poetry or prophecy, but from the practical need to keep track of grain, livestock, and trade. What began as a tool for accounting would eventually become a vehicle for recording laws, literature, and the very essence of a civilization. This is the journey of cuneiform, a script that shaped the ancient world and continues to captivate us today. Cuneiform's origins are as humble as they are revolutionary. Around 3200 BCE, in the fertile lands between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, the Sumerians developed a system of tokens and clay envelopes to track goods like barley and sheep. Over time, these tokens were replaced by markings pressed into clay tablets using a reed stylus. These marks, shaped like wedges, hence the name cuneiform, from the Latin cuneus, meaning wedge, were the beginning of something extraordinary. What started as a way to count bushels of grain soon became a method for recording more complex information, from temple offerings to the distribution of rations. It was writing in its most practical form, born out of necessity, but cuneiform didn't stop at accounting. As the Sumerian city-states grew, so did the need for more sophisticated communication. By around 2500 BC, cuneiform had evolved into a fully developed writing system, capable of recording not just numbers and goods, but also language itself. This transformation was nothing short of revolutionary. Suddenly, ideas could be preserved, laws codified, and stories told in ways that transcended time and space. The Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the world's oldest known literary works, was written in cuneiform, as were the earliest known legal codes, like the Code of Ur-Nammu and later the famous Code of Hammurabi. These texts weren't just records, they were the foundation of civilization as we know it. Deciphering cuneiform was no small feat. For centuries, the script remained a mystery, its wedge-shaped symbols seemingly impenetrable. The breakthrough came in the 19th century, thanks to the Behistun inscription, a trilingual text carved into a cliff in modern-day Iran. Like the Rosetta Stone, the Behistun inscription provided a key to unlocking cuneiform, with versions of the same text written in Old Persian, Elamite, and Babylonian. Scholars like Henry Rawlinson painstakingly compared the inscriptions, gradually piecing together the grammar and vocabulary of the ancient script. It was a monumental achievement, one that opened the door to understanding not just cuneiform, but the entire world of Mesopotamian culture. What cuneiform reveals about Mesopotamia is nothing short of extraordinary. These ancient tablets tell us about everything from the daily lives of farmers to the grand ambitions of kings. They record the first known love poems, mathematical calculations, and even early attempts at medical treatments. One tablet, for example, details a recipe for beer, while another outlines the symptoms of disease. Through cuneiform, we see a society that was deeply organized, highly literate, and profoundly creative. It's a reminder that writing isn't just a tool, it's a mirror reflecting the values, priorities, and aspirations of the people who use it. Yet, cuneiform's story is also one of adaptation and resilience. Over thousands of years, the script was used by multiple cultures, from the Sumerians to the Akkadians, Babylonians, and Assyrians. Each group adapted cuneiform to their own language, adding new symbols and meanings. This flexibility is part of what made cuneiform so enduring, allowing it to survive and thrive for millennia. Even as empires rose and fell, the script remained a constant, a thread connecting the ancient world. Today, cuneiform stands as a testament to the power of writing to shape history. It reminds us that the roots of our modern world lie not in grand monuments or epic battles, but in the everyday acts of counting, recording, and communicating. The story of cuneiform is the story of humanity's earliest attempts to make sense of the world, to leave a mark, and to ensure that our voices would be heard long after we were gone. And as we continue to study these ancient tablets, we're reminded that the past is never truly silent, it's just waiting for us to listen. Now, let's turn our attention to one of the most enigmatic artifacts ever discovered, a small, circular clay disc that has baffled scholars for over a century. Unearthed in 1908 at the Minoan Palace of Phaistos on the island of Crete, the Phaistos disc is a treasure trove of mystery. Its surface is covered with spiraling rows of stamped symbols, each one meticulously pressed into the clay. But here's the twist. These symbols don't resemble any known writing system from the ancient world. They're entirely unique, making the Phaistos disc a puzzle unlike any other. What does it say? Why was it made? And why, despite decades of study, does it remain one of archaeology's most tantalizing unsolved mysteries? What makes the Phaistos disc so intriguing is its singularity. Unlike other ancient scripts, which often have parallels or connections to known languages, the symbols on the disc stand alone. There are 45 distinct characters, ranging from human figures and animals to abstract shapes like spirals and flowers. These symbols are arranged in a spiral pattern, divided into sections by lines, suggesting some kind of structure or organization, but without a bilingual text or a clear cultural context. Deciphering the disc has proven to be an almost insurmountable challenge. It's as if the disc exists in a linguistic vacuum, a lone artifact from a forgotten script. Over the years, countless theories have been proposed to explain the disc's purpose. Some researchers believe it's a religious text, perhaps a hymn or a prayer, given the Minoan's rich spiritual traditions. Others suggest it might be a form of administrative record-keeping, similar to the linear, tablets found at Phaistos. There's even a theory that it's a board game, with the symbols representing moves or rules, but without more evidence, these ideas remain speculative. What's clear is that the disc was created with great care and intentionality. Each symbol was stamped into the clay using individual seals, a process that would have required significant skill and effort. The challenges of decoding the Phaistos disc go beyond its unique script. Unlike the Rosetta Stone or the Behistun inscription, there's no bilingual text to provide a key. There are no comparable artifacts, no known descendants of the script, and no clear links to other Minoan writing systems like Linear A or Linear B. Even the disc's context is shrouded in mystery. It was found in a room alongside Linear A tablets, but its relationship to these texts is unclear. This lack of context makes it difficult to determine whether the disc is a form of writing, a symbolic code, or something else entirely. Despite these challenges, the Phaistos disc continues to captivate researchers and enthusiasts alike. Its enduring mystery is a testament to the allure of the unknown, a reminder that there are still secrets waiting to be uncovered. For every theory that's been proposed, there's a new question that arises. Could the disc be a form of proto-writing, a precursor to more developed scripts, or is it a unique creation, a one-of-a-kind artifact that defies categorization? The answers may still be out of reach, but the search itself is a journey worth taking. What's remarkable about the Phaistos disc is how it challenges our assumptions about ancient writing. It reminds us that the past is full of surprises, that there are stories and systems of communication that we may never fully understand. And while the disc's symbols remain silent for now, they continue to inspire curiosity, creativity, and a sense of wonder. In a world where so much is known, the Phaistos disc stands as a symbol of the mysteries that still await us, a reminder that the past is never truly finished speaking. Now, let's journey to the heart of ancient Mesoamerica, where the Olmec civilization laid the foundation for one of the most fascinating chapters in human history. Known as the mother culture of the Americas, the Olmecs flourished between 1200 and 400 BCE, leaving behind colossal stone heads, intricate jade carvings, and a script that remains one of the earliest known writing systems in the region. The Olmec script is more than just a collection of symbols. It's a bridge to understanding the roots of Mesoamerican cultures and a key to unlocking the stories of a civilization that shaped the course of history. What makes the Olmec script so significant is its role as a precursor to later Mesoamerican writing systems, particularly the Mayan glyphs. Scholars believe that the Olmecs developed the first true writing system in the Americas, one that influenced the linguistic and cultural traditions of their successors. While only a handful of examples of the Olmec script have survived, mostly carved into stone monuments or portable objects like pottery and jewelry, these fragments offer tantalizing clues about its structure and purpose. The symbols range from abstract shapes to recognizable depictions of animals and human figures, suggesting a complex system that combined both pictorial and phonetic elements. It's a glimpse into the intellectual and artistic sophistication of a civilization that thrived over 3,000 years ago, but deciphering the Olmec script is no easy task. Unlike the Rosetta Stone or the Mayan glyphs, which benefited from bilingual texts or a wealth of surviving examples, the Olmec script exists in a frustratingly fragmentary state. Only about 20 inscriptions have been discovered, and many of these are short or damaged, making it difficult to identify patterns or meanings. Without a larger corpus of texts, scholars are left to piece together the script's grammar and vocabulary from scattered clues, a process that requires both patience and creativity. Compounding the challenge is the fact that the Olmec language itself is unknown, leaving researchers to rely on comparisons with later Mesoamerican languages and cultural practices. Despite these obstacles, researchers have made some progress in understanding the Olmec script. One of the most intriguing discoveries is the Cascadal block, a stone slab found in the 1990s that bears 28 distinct symbols arranged in rows. This artifact, dating to around 900 BCE, is considered one of the earliest examples of writing in the Americas. While the exact meaning of the symbols remains unclear, their orderly arrangement suggests a structured system of communication, possibly used for recording names, events, or religious rituals. The Cascadal block is a reminder that even the smallest fragments of the past can hold immense significance, offering glimpses into a world that might otherwise remain hidden. What's particularly fascinating about the Olmec script is how it reflects the broader cultural achievements of the Olmec civilization. Known for their monumental architecture, advanced agricultural practices, and intricate artistry, the Olmecs were pioneers in many ways. Their writing system, though still largely undeciphered, is a testament to their intellectual curiosity and their desire to record and communicate ideas. It's also a reminder of the interconnectedness of Mesoamerican cultures. The Olmec's influence can be seen in the art, religion, and writing systems of later civilizations like the Maya and the Zapotec, highlighting their role as cultural innovators and trendsetters. The study of the Olmec script is more than just an academic exercise. It's a journey to the roots of Mesoamerican identity. By unraveling its symbols, we gain a deeper understanding of how writing systems evolve, how cultures influence one another, and how ideas are passed down through generations. Every symbol, every inscription, is a piece of a larger puzzle, one that connects us to the people who shaped the ancient world. And while the Olmec script may remain a mystery for now, its significance is undeniable. It's a reminder that the past is full of stories waiting to be told, and that every discovery brings us closer to understanding the rich tapestry of human history. Now, let's turn our attention to the Etruscans, a civilization that once dominated the Italian peninsula long before the rise of Rome. Known for their rich culture, advanced metallurgy, and enigmatic language, the Etruscans left behind a legacy that continues to fascinate and puzzle scholars. The Etruscan language, written in a script derived from the Greek alphabet, is one of the most tantalizing mysteries of the ancient world. Despite thousands of inscriptions found on tombstones, pottery, and artifacts, the language remains only partially understood. Its isolation from other known languages has made it particularly resistant to decipherment, leaving us with fragments of a civilization that once thrived in the shadows of history. What makes the Etruscan language so challenging is its uniqueness. Unlike Latin or Greek, which belong to well-documented language families, Etruscan doesn't fit neatly into any linguistic category. It's a language isolate, meaning it has no known relatives or descendants. This isolation means there's no Rosetta Stone for Etruscan, no bilingual text to serve as a key. Without a bridge to a known language, scholars are left to piece together its meaning from scattered clues, relying on patterns, context, and educated guesses. Even the alphabet, borrowed from the Greeks, offers limited help, as the sounds and meanings of the letters don't always align with those of their Greek counterparts. Despite these challenges, researchers have made significant strides in decoding certain aspects of the language. Funerary inscriptions, for example, have provided valuable insights into Etruscan names, social structures, and religious practices. These texts often include names of individuals and their familial relationships, offering glimpses into Etruscan society. We know, for instance, that Etruscan women held a prominent place in society, with inscriptions often naming them alongside their husbands, a practice unusual in the ancient world. Other texts, like the Zagreb mummy wrappings, a linen cloth inscribed with the longest known Etruscan text, hint at religious rituals and beliefs, though much of their meaning remains elusive. The cultural insights gleaned from these texts are invaluable, even if the language itself isn't fully understood. The Etruscans were master artisans, known for their intricate gold jewelry, vibrant tomb paintings, and monumental architecture. Their cities, like Veii and Tarquinia, were centers of innovation and trade, influencing the development of early Rome. Etruscan religious practices, particularly their elaborate burial customs and divination rituals, left a lasting mark on Roman culture. By studying the fragments of their language, we're not just decoding words, we're uncovering the values, beliefs, and daily lives of a people who shaped the course of Western civilization. Yet, the mystery of the Etruscan language endures. Why did it disappear? How did it evolve? And what can it tell us about the broader tapestry of ancient Mediterranean cultures? These questions remain unanswered, but they continue to drive research and exploration. Every new inscription, every fresh analysis, brings us closer to understanding this enigmatic civilization. The Etruscan language is more than just a linguistic puzzle. It's a gateway to a world that has been waiting for centuries to be rediscovered. And as we continue to unravel its secrets, we're reminded of the enduring power of language to connect us to the past, even when its voices are faint and fragmented. Nestled in the fertile plains of ancient Iran, the Proto-Elamite script stands as one of the earliest attempts by humans to capture language in written form. Emerging around 3100 BCE, this enigmatic writing system predates even the famous cuneiform of Mesopotamia, offering a glimpse into the dawn of statecraft and administration. Yet, despite its age and significance, the Proto-Elamite script remains one of the most challenging puzzles in the study of ancient writing. Why? Because it exists in isolation, with no known descendants or connections to later languages, leaving scholars to piece together its meaning from scattered fragments. At first glance, the Proto-Elamite script bears a striking resemblance to its Mesopotamian counterpart, cuneiform. Both systems use wedge-shaped marks pressed into clay tablets, and both were developed to meet the practical needs of early states, tracking goods, managing resources, and recording transactions. But that's where the similarities end. Unlike cuneiform, which evolved into a complex system capable of recording poetry, law, and history, the Proto-Elamite script appears to have been more limited in scope. Its symbols, though numerous, seem to focus primarily on numerical and economic data, suggesting it was used mainly for administrative purposes. This narrow focus makes it both fascinating and frustrating for researchers, as it offers a window into early state formation but leaves many questions unanswered. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Proto-Elamite script is its potential role in the rise of complex societies. The tablets, found primarily at sites like Susa in southwestern Iran, reveal a highly organized system of record-keeping, with detailed accounts of grain, livestock, and labor. This level of administrative control suggests that the Proto-Elamite culture was one of the earliest examples of a state-level society, where centralized authority and bureaucracy played a key role in managing resources and maintaining order. In this sense, the script is more than just a writing system. It's a reflection of how early humans began to organize themselves into larger, more complex communities. But deciphering the Proto-Elamite script is no easy task. Unlike cuneiform, which benefited from bilingual texts and a wealth of archaeological context, the Proto-Elamite script offers no such clues. Its symbols are unique, with no clear connections to later writing systems, and the language it represents has long since vanished. This isolation makes it difficult to identify even basic elements like grammar or vocabulary. Scholars have made some progress by analyzing recurring patterns and comparing the script to cuneiform, but without a definitive key, much of its meaning remains speculative. It's a reminder of how fragile our connection to the past can be, and how much we still have to learn about the origins of writing. What makes the Proto-Elamite script so compelling is its potential to reshape our understanding of early human history. By studying these ancient tablets, we gain insights into how societies first began to organize themselves, how they managed resources, and how they communicated across time and space. Every symbol, every mark on clay, is a piece of a larger puzzle, one that connects us to the people who laid the foundations of civilization. And while the script may remain undeciphered for now, its significance is undeniable. It's a testament to the ingenuity and creativity of our ancestors, and a reminder that the story of human progress is still being written. Deep in the heart of ancient Nubia, along the banks of the Nile, lies the story of a once mighty kingdom and its enigmatic script. The Meroitic script, used by the kingdom of Kush from around 300 BC to 400 CE, stands as one of Africa's earliest writing systems. Yet, despite its historical importance, this script remains largely undeciphered, its symbols silent witnesses to a civilization that rivaled ancient Egypt in power and sophistication. What makes the Meroitic script so fascinating and so frustrating is its dual nature, a system that combines both hieroglyphic and cursive forms, yet resists modern efforts to unlock its secrets. This is the story of a script that defies easy answers and the kingdom it sought to preserve. The Meroitic script is divided into two distinct forms: the hieroglyphic, used primarily for religious and monumental inscriptions, and the cursive, employed for everyday writing. Both forms share a common set of symbols, but their usage and context differ dramatically. The hieroglyphic script, carved into temple walls and royal stelae, reflects the grandeur of the Kushite kingdom, with its towering pyramids and powerful rulers. The cursive script, on the other hand, appears on papyri and ostraka pottery shards used for writing, offering glimpses into the daily lives of the people. Together, these scripts paint a picture of a society that valued both the sacred and the mundane, the monumental and the personal, but decoding the Meroitic script is no easy task. Unlike Egyptian hieroglyphs, which were unlocked with the help of the Rosetta Stone, the Meroitic script lacks a comparable bilingual text. Scholars have identified the phonetic values of many symbols, thanks to comparisons with Egyptian and Greek inscriptions, but the underlying language remains elusive. Meroitic is a language isolate, unrelated to any known language family, which means there's no linguistic bridge to help translate its texts. Without this key, even the most meticulous analysis can only take us so far. It's a reminder that sometimes the past holds its secrets tightly, refusing to yield even to our most advanced tools and techniques. What makes the Meroitic script particularly intriguing is its role in preserving the history of the kingdom of Kush. At its height, Kush was a formidable power, controlling vast territories along the Nile and wielding influence far beyond its borders. The kingdom's rulers, known as the Black Pharaohs, even conquered Egypt for a time, leaving behind a legacy of monumental architecture and cultural exchange. The Meroitic script was central to this legacy, used to record everything from royal decrees and religious texts to personal letters and trade agreements. Yet, despite its importance, much of this history remains locked away, waiting for someone to decipher the script and bring it to life. One of the most promising avenues for decipherment lies in the few bilingual texts that do exist. These inscriptions, written in both Meroitic and Egyptian or Greek, offer tantalizing clues about the script's structure and content. For example, a set of funerary inscriptions known as the Meroitic funerary texts includes names and titles that can be cross-referenced with Egyptian equivalents, providing a foothold for understanding the script. But these bilingual texts are rare, and their fragmentary nature makes it difficult to draw definitive conclusions. It's a slow, painstaking process, requiring equal parts patience, creativity, and scholarly rigor. The challenges of deciphering the Meroitic script also highlight the broader issue of linguistic diversity and preservation. Many ancient scripts, like Meroitic, exist in isolation, their languages long since vanished. When these scripts are lost, so too are the stories, traditions, and identities they represent. The Meroitic script is more than just a puzzle to be solved. It's a window into a civilization that played a crucial role in the history of Africa and the Mediterranean world. By working to decode it, we're not just uncovering the past, we're honoring the resilience and creativity of the people who created it. As we continue to explore the mysteries of the Meroitic script, we're reminded of the power of writing to connect us to the past. Every symbol, every inscription, is a thread in the tapestry of human history, a reminder of the countless voices that have shaped our world. And while the script may remain undeciphered for now, its very existence is a testament to the ingenuity and ambition of the kingdom of Kush. It's a story of a civilization that refused to be forgotten, and a script that continues to challenge and inspire us, centuries after its last inscription was carved into stone. The Meroitic script may be silent, but its story is far from over. Now, let's journey to the misty highlands of Oaxaca, Mexico, where the Zapotec civilization flourished over 2,000 years ago. Known for their towering pyramids, intricate stone carvings, and vibrant culture, the Zapotecs also left behind one of the earliest writing systems in the Americas, the Zapotec script. This ancient writing system, etched into stone monuments and painted on pottery, offers a tantalizing glimpse into the lives of a people who built one of Mesoamerica's most enduring civilizations. But what does this script tell us, and why, despite its importance, does it remain one of the most challenging scripts to decipher? The Zapotec script is a marvel of early writing, blending pictorial and symbolic elements in a way that reflects the complexity of Zapotec society. Emerging around 500 BC, it predates even the famous Mayan glyphs, making it a cornerstone in the development of Mesoamerican writing. The symbols, often carved into stone stelae, or painted on pottery, depict everything from human figures and animals to abstract geometric patterns. These inscriptions weren't just decorative, they were records of history, genealogy, and religious rituals, offering a window into the spiritual and political life of the Zapotecs. Imagine standing before a stone stele, its surface alive with symbols that tell the story of a king's reign or a sacred ceremony. It's a connection to the past that feels almost tangible, yet remains just out of reach. But deciphering the Zapotec script is no easy task. Unlike later Mesoamerican scripts like the Mayan glyphs, which have been extensively studied and partially decoded, the Zapotec script exists in a frustratingly fragmentary state. Only a handful of inscriptions have survived, and many of these are short or damaged, leaving scholars with limited material to work with. Without a bilingual text or a clear link to a known language, researchers are left to piece together the script's meaning from scattered clues. It's like trying to solve a puzzle when half the pieces are missing, a challenge that requires equal parts creativity, patience, and ingenuity. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Zapotec script is its potential to reveal the inner workings of Zapotec society. The inscriptions often appear in contexts that suggest they were used to record important events, such as the ascension of rulers or the dedication of temples. Some symbols may represent names or titles, while others could signify dates or ritual actions. For example, a recurring motif of a figure with a headdress might denote a ruler or a deity, while abstract patterns could represent celestial events or sacred concepts. These symbols aren't just marks on stone, they're keys to understanding a civilization that valued history, spirituality, and the written word. Yet, the challenges of decipherment go beyond the scarcity of texts. The Zapotec language itself, though still spoken by some communities in Oaxaca, has evolved significantly over the centuries, making it difficult to connect the ancient script to its modern counterpart. Additionally, the cultural context in which the script was used has been largely lost, leaving scholars to rely on comparisons with later Mesoamerican cultures like the Maya and Aztecs. This lack of context means that even when symbols are identified, their deeper meanings may remain elusive. It's a reminder of how much we still have to learn about the Zapotecs and their remarkable achievements. What makes the Zapotec script so compelling is not just its mystery, but what it represents, the birth of writing in the Americas. By studying these ancient symbols, we gain a deeper appreciation for the creativity and ingenuity of the Zapotec people, who developed a writing system that would influence later Mesoamerican cultures. Every symbol, every inscription, is a piece of a larger story, one that connects us to a civilization that thrived long before the arrival of Europeans. And while the script may remain undeciphered for now, its significance is undeniable. It's a testament to the power of human expression and a reminder that the past is full of stories waiting to be told. As we continue to explore the mysteries of the Zapotec script, we're reminded that the search for knowledge is never just about finding answers. It's about honoring the voices of those who came before us and ensuring that their stories are never forgotten. Now, let's turn our attention to one of the most enigmatic scripts of the ancient world, Linear A. This mysterious writing system, used by the Minoans on the island of Crete around 1800 to 1450 BCE, predates its more famous successor, Linear B, by several centuries. While Linear B has been decoded, revealing the administrative records of the Mycenaean Greeks, Linear A remains stubbornly undeciphered. Its symbols, etched onto clay tablets and other artifacts, hold the key to understanding a civilization that laid the groundwork for European culture as we know it. But what makes Linear A so elusive, and why does it continue to captivate scholars and enthusiasts alike? Linear A's significance lies not just in its mystery, but in what it represents, the voice of the Minoans, a sophisticated and enigmatic people who thrived in the Bronze Age. The Minoans are often celebrated for their stunning palaces, like Knossos with its labyrinthine corridors and vivid frescoes, and for their advanced maritime trade networks that connected the Mediterranean world. Yet their language, as recorded in Linear A, remains a puzzle, unlike Linear B, which was deciphered in the 1950s as an early form of Greek. Linear A has no known linguistic relatives. It's a script without a key, a language without a bridge to the present. This isolation makes it one of the greatest challenges in the field of decipherment. The challenges of decoding linear are multifaceted. First, there's the issue of context. While hundreds of linear inscriptions have been found, most are short and fragmentary, offering little insight into the script's structure or meaning. Many of these inscriptions appear on clay tablets, seals, and votive offerings, suggesting they were used primarily for administrative and religious purposes. But without longer texts or bilingual inscriptions, it's difficult to determine whether the symbols represent sounds, words, or a combination of both. Additionally, the Minoan language itself is unknown, with no clear connections to any modern or ancient languages. This lack of linguistic context leaves scholars with few clues to work with, forcing them to rely on patterns, frequencies, and educated guesses. Despite these obstacles, researchers have made some progress in understanding Linear A. By comparing it to Linear B, which uses similar symbols but represents a different language, scholars have been able to identify potential phonetic values for some signs. For example, certain symbols in Linear appear to correspond to numbers or commodities, suggesting a system of record keeping similar to that of Linear B. However, these parallels only take us so far. Without a deeper understanding of the Minoan language, the true meaning of Linear remains out of reach. It's like having a map without a legend. We can see the shapes, but we don't know what they signify. What makes Linear so important, despite its challenges, is its role in the broader story of European civilization. The Minoans were among the first advanced societies in Europe, influencing later cultures like the Mycenaeans and, by extension, the Greeks. Their innovations in art, architecture, and trade set the stage for the classical world that followed. By decoding Linear A, we wouldn't just be solving a linguistic puzzle, we'd be unlocking the secrets of a civilization that shaped the course of history. Imagine the insights we could gain into Minoan religion, governance, and daily life, all hidden within those enigmatic symbols. The quest to decipher Linear is also a testament to the enduring allure of the unknown. It reminds us that history is full of mysteries waiting to be solved, and that every script, no matter how obscure, has a story to tell. For scholars, it's a call to push the boundaries of what we know, to explore new methods and technologies, and to collaborate across disciplines. For the rest of us, it's a reminder of the richness and complexity of the human experience, and the endless possibilities that lie within the written word. As we continue to explore the mysteries of Linear A, we're reminded that the past is never truly silent. Every symbol, every inscription is a whisper from a world long gone, inviting us to listen, to learn, and to connect. The story of Linear isn't just about deciphering a script, it's about uncovering the roots of who we are and celebrating the ingenuity and creativity of those who came before us. And while the script may remain undeciphered for now, its legacy endures, a testament to the enduring power of human curiosity and the timeless quest for knowledge. Now, let's travel back in time to ancient China, where the seeds of written language may have been planted over 8,000 years ago. Discovered at the Neolithic site of Jiahu in Henan Province, the Jiahu symbols are among the earliest known markings that hint at the origins of writing. These enigmatic symbols, etched onto tortoise shells and bones, have sparked intense debate among scholars. Are they merely decorative, or do they represent a form of proto-writing, a precursor to the sophisticated Chinese characters we know today? The Jiahu symbols are more than just ancient graffiti. They're a window into a pivotal moment in human history, when the first steps toward written communication were taken. The Jiahu symbols date back to around 6,600 BCE, a time when early agricultural societies were beginning to settle and organize. Found alongside artifacts like flutes, pottery, and tools, these markings suggest a culture that valued not just survival, but expression. The symbols themselves are simple yet intriguing, a mix of lines, dots, and abstract shapes that some researchers believe may represent numbers, objects, or even concepts. While they don't form a coherent writing system like later Chinese characters, they share striking similarities in structure and form, hinting at a possible evolutionary link. Could the Jiahu symbols be the distant ancestors of the intricate script that would one day dominate East Asia? What makes the Jiahu symbols so fascinating is their potential role in the development of Chinese writing. Scholars have long debated whether these markings represent true writing or something more rudimentary. True writing, as defined by linguists, involves a systematic way of representing language symbols that correspond to specific sounds, words, or ideas. The Jiahu symbols, however, are more ambiguous. They appear sporadically, without the consistent patterns or repetition seen in later scripts like oracle bone inscriptions. This has led some experts to argue that they may be a form of proto-writing, a transitional stage between simple markings and a fully developed writing system. Others suggest they could be ritualistic symbols or personal notations, used for purposes we may never fully understand. One of the most compelling aspects of the Jiahu symbols is how they challenge our assumptions about the origins of writing. Traditionally, the development of writing has been seen as a linear process, with clear stages leading from simple marks to complex scripts. The Jiahu symbols, however, suggest a more nuanced reality. They remind us that the path to written language wasn't a straight line, but a winding journey filled with experimentation, creativity, and cultural innovation. In this sense, they're not just artifacts, they're a testament to the ingenuity of early humans, who sought to communicate and record their world in ways that would resonate for millennia. Yet, the debate over the Jiahu symbols also underscores the challenges of studying ancient writing. Without a clear cultural context or a direct link to later scripts, interpreting these markings requires a blend of imagination and rigorous analysis. Some researchers have drawn parallels between the Jiahu symbols and later Chinese characters, pointing to similarities in form and structure. For example, certain markings resemble early versions of characters for words like sun or moon, suggesting a possible continuity. However, these connections remain speculative, leaving room for further discovery and debate. What's clear is that the Jiahu symbols represent a critical moment in the story of writing, one that continues to inspire and challenge us. The significance of the Jiahu symbols extends beyond their potential link to Chinese writing. They remind us that the desire to communicate, to leave a mark, is a fundamental part of the human experience. Whether they are the earliest stirrings of a writing system or simply the creative expressions of a Neolithic community, These symbols are a powerful reminder of how far we've come and how much we still have to learn. As we continue to study these ancient markings, we're not just uncovering the roots of Chinese characters, we're exploring the origins of human expression itself and the timeless urge to make our voices heard across the ages. Now, let's step into the high Andes of South America, where the Inca Empire once stretched across thousands of miles, united not by a written script, but by something far more tactile and intricate, the quipu. Unlike the scripts we've explored so far, the quipu wasn't made of symbols or letters. It was a system of knotted chords, each knot and color carefully arranged to convey information. This unique method of record-keeping challenges everything we think we know about writing, offering a glimpse into a civilization that thrived without the need for traditional text. But what exactly was the quipu, and how did it manage to capture the complexities of an entire empire? At first glance, a quipu might look like a simple bundle of strings, but its design was anything but random. Each quipu consisted of a main chord from which dozens of smaller chords hung, each tied with a series of knots. The position, type, and color of these knots held specific meanings, creating a complex system of encoding information. Some scholars believe the quipu was used to record numerical data, such as census figures, agricultural yields, or tribute payments. Others suggest it could have conveyed narratives, histories, or even poetry, making it a versatile tool for both administration and storytelling. Imagine a society where numbers, names, and stories were recorded not in ink, but in knots, each twist and turn of the cord carrying the weight of an empire's memory. The quipu's significance goes beyond its functionality. It forces us to rethink what writing actually is. Traditionally, we associate writing with symbols or letters that represent sounds or ideas. But the quipu operates on a completely different principle, using physical objects, knots, and chords to encode meaning. This challenges the idea that writing must be visual or textual, suggesting instead that communication can take many forms, from the tactile to the symbolic. In this sense, the quipu isn't just a tool for record keeping, it's a testament to the creativity and adaptability of human communication, proving that writing isn't confined to the page. Decoding the quipu, however, is no simple task. Unlike scripts that can be compared to known languages or bilingual texts, the quipu exists in a category of its own. There's no Rosetta Stone for knots, no clear key to unlock their meaning. This has left scholars grappling with a fundamental question: how do you decipher a system that doesn't rely on words or symbols? Some researchers have focused on the mathematical aspects of the quipu, analyzing the patterns of knots to reconstruct numerical data. Others have turned to oral histories and ethnography, studying the traditions of modern Andean communities to find clues about how the quipu might have been used. Yet, despite these efforts, much of the quipu's meaning remains shrouded in mystery. One of the most intriguing aspects of the quipu is its role in preserving Inca history. When the Spanish conquistadors arrived in the 16th century, they dismissed the quipu as primitive, destroying many of these artifacts and imposing their own written language. But the quipu endured, surviving in the memories and practices of Andean communities. In some cases, quipus were hidden away, passed down through generations as a form of cultural resistance. Today, they serve as a powerful reminder of the Incas' ingenuity and resilience, offering a tangible link to a civilization that refused to be erased. Yet, the challenges of decoding the quipu also highlight a broader issue: the fragility of non-textual forms of communication. Without a living tradition to explain its use, the quipu's meaning risks being lost forever. This is why efforts to study and preserve these artifacts are so crucial. By combining archaeological research with insights from modern Andean communities, scholars are slowly piecing together the quipu's secrets, one knot at a time. Each discovery brings us closer to understanding how the Inca managed their vast empire, how they recorded their history, and how they saw the world. The quipu is more than just a historical artifact, it's a challenge to our assumptions about writing, communication, and culture. It reminds us that language isn't limited to letters or symbols. It can take many forms, from the spoken word to the tied knot. As we continue to unravel the mysteries of the quipu, we're not just decoding a record-keeping system. We're rediscovering a way of thinking, a way of remembering, and a way of connecting that transcends the written word. And in doing so, we honor the legacy of a civilization that found beauty and meaning in the simplest of materials: a cord, a knot, and a story waiting to be told. As we reach the end of our journey through the lost histories of ancient scripts, one thing becomes undeniably clear: these enigmatic writings are far more than mere puzzles waiting to be solved. They are living testaments to the ingenuity, creativity, and resilience of the civilizations that created them. From the Rosetta Stone, which cracked open the secrets of Egyptian hieroglyphs, to the Voynich manuscript, whose strange symbols continue to defy explanation, each script offers a unique window into the human experience. These symbols, etched into stone, clay, and parchment, are not just marks, they are the voices of people who lived, dreamed, and left their mark on history. What makes these scripts so compelling is not just their mystery, but the stories they hold. They remind us that every culture, no matter how distant in time or place, has something to teach us about how we communicate, organize, and make sense of the world. The Rosetta Stone shows us the power of language to bridge gaps between civilizations. The Mayan glyphs reveal a society deeply connected to the cosmos and their gods. And the quipu, with its intricate knots, challenges our very definition of writing, proving that communication can take countless forms. Each script is a piece of a larger puzzle, one that connects us to the roots of human creativity and ambition. Yet for all we've learned, many mysteries remain. The Indus Valley script, the Rongorongo of Easter Island, and the Voynich manuscript continue to resist our best efforts at decipherment. But this isn't a failure, it's an invitation. These unsolved puzzles remind us that the past is full of surprises and that there's always more to discover. Thanks to advances in technology and interdisciplinary research, we're closer than ever to unlocking their secrets. Artificial intelligence, 3D imaging, and collaborative scholarship are opening new doors, offering fresh ways to approach these ancient codes. The journey to decode these scripts is ongoing, and every breakthrough brings us closer to understanding the full richness of human history. What's truly remarkable is how these ancient scripts continue to inspire us today. They challenge us to think differently, to embrace complexity, and to honor the diversity of human expression. They remind us that the past is not a static relic, but a living, breathing force that shapes who we are and who we can become. By studying these scripts, we're not just uncovering history, we're rediscovering our shared humanity. So, as we wrap up this exploration, let's keep the spirit of curiosity alive. The stories of these ancient scripts are far from over, and each new discovery brings us closer to hearing the voices of the past. What script fascinates you the most? Is it the mathematical precision of cuneiform, the artistic beauty of Mayan glyphs, or the enduring mystery of the Voynich manuscript? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this journey with others. Together, we can keep exploring, questioning, and learning, because the past still has so much to teach us, and the future is full of possibilities.